Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. It is the Friday Night Love Stream. So glad everybody could join us this evening. I did have a couple of things I wanted to bring up before we start with our first caller, Pyra, which we've had her on before. First off is there's going to be a flood of information that continually comes out. A lot of it may put you on edge and things like that, but everything's going to play out just the way it's supposed to. You know, don't be alarmed. Even well-meaning people are going to get in panic mode when they hear different things. And, you know, everything's happening just as it's supposed to. So please don't worry. What else? I wanted to also talk about Austin. Now, let's send a lot of love and light and our prayers out to Diane, who was going to host our event in Austin, just outside of Austin, for New Year's. That might not be the venue we use now. Austin is still on. We're still planning to be there New Year's Eve. For those that haven't heard about it, if you'd like to join us to pray in, meditate in the new year, get to meet one another, and have some activities together, it's going to be New Year's Eve, the weekend before New Year's Eve, leading up into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So if you'd like to be a part of that anytime during that weekend, or to bring in the new year with us, please send me an email. You can go to uotf.net, the website, and contact me through there, or my email address is also listed on there. Just make sure you put Austin in the subject line so I can move it to the folder that I've been moving all the emails to, so I can send it out and let you guys know, where we're going to be meeting and all that stuff. But I would like to definitely keep Diane in our prayers, because there's flooding that happened, and she at Lake Travis, and she was forced to evacuate her property. So we're not sure if that's going to be the venue. Probably not, but like I said, it's still planning to do something down there. And I just wanted to send her our love, because I know it's tough to get beyond the stuff happening to your property, losing stuff, but then to get beyond that into the excitement of a new chapter, because that's typically what we end up doing if we can be optimistic about it. But our thoughts and prayers with Diane. Okay, so now that I got all that out of the way, let me make sure I unmute Pyra here. Okay, Pyra, I think you're unmuted. Let me make sure I've got audio. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been hearing the phone kind of cut out a little bit, so let me know if it's choppy on your end, and I'll find another way to call back in.
Oh, okay. Nope, you're coming in great as of right now. Anyway.
Okay.
Now you've
Awesome.
called in before.
Awesome.
You had the property that was on the like a ley line or energy filled. I know you're in the Eastern time zone. I can't remember what state. So if you can do like a little recap so people
I'm in
remember.
North Carolina.
North Carolina,
Yeah.
That's right, in the
I'm
mountains.
in North Carolina, by Pilot Mountain. And most people don't know about it. It took me a little while to figure out what was going on over here, too. But there's like a pinwheel of ley lines here. There's nowhere else like it in the U.S. And most of the lines that intersect with Pilot Mountain will also cross paths like the pyramids in Egypt and the Vatican in Rome. And there's there's a bunch of different ley lines that it intersects with. So it's like this super PowerPoint, and it's crazy here, the stuff that happens.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. And
I wanted to, it sounds like you had so much fun in Sedona.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. It was really surreal looking back on it now. It's like, did that really happen? I mean, it was an awesome trip. It was a great break.
Yeah, it's got that feeling like you're in another world there. Like that you're, I don't know, you're crossing a line of another world, and there's just a different feeling there.
Yeah, definitely.
And 89A, that highway from Flagstaff down to Sedona, is that not the coolest ever?
Oh my goodness, it was. Yeah, I like recorded the whole time, and you can hear me talking to my wife the whole time in awe. And I'm like, I'm gonna play this for you later, and I do have a lot of the footage, but it's like through the windshield. It's not very good footage, but I did
Yeah,
manage to hold it out the window a few times and capture some footage. I still need to put that together because it's indescribable. I can't even the
yeah.
video doesn't do it much justice, but it's really a great drive.
Yeah, because you can't get the feeling, from the video. But the only thing I regret is not doing Slide Rock. Do you remember seeing that?
No, there were so many places people were saying to go, and I'm like, I
Uh,
just don't have time to go to all these places. I wish.
yeah, yeah. It's like, I don't know how long it is, but it's like natural rock slides with the river. So you kind of just go and like ride down the river on these rocks. It's really cool.
Oh wow. Yeah, didn't get to
Anyway,
do
it sounds
anything
like a
like that.
great time.
Oh, while we're on the subject of Sedona, if I haven't gotten a hold of anybody that was there that night, that Saturday night, we went out to the Meditation Rock, please do email me. An artist, Sandy, was with us that night, and she painted this beautiful picture that she wants everybody that was there to have. So I did manage to contact about 10 people that were there, but I didn't have everyone's contact information. I was hoping the 10 people I emailed would be able to get a hold of the other people. But if you're listening to this and you were there and I haven't emailed you, please email me so I can get you Sandy's information. It's this beautiful painting that she made prints of for everyone who wants one that was there. Okay. Sorry, Pyra. It's just so much on my plate right now. It's like it's
That's
getting so hard to
okay.
keep up with everything. So I got to say it as I think about it.
You
Okay.
need an assistant.
I do. I'm getting to that point. I'm finally like, oh my gosh, and I've been trying to I haven't been trying to grow the channel. I've been trying to kind of keep it where it's at, but I can't help it. It's just growing. But I've been trying not to do
Yeah.
things to really trigger heavy growth because it's like I'm right at the point where I don't want to lose that intimate relationship I have with people or have like someone else do my emailing and stuff like that. And it's just getting beyond what I can handle in the time I have and everything. So I guess at some point, I
Saying
guess I will.
universe is going to bring you whatever's supposed to come.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So
Totally.
don't stress about it.
So
I
you,
mean,
so
it's
you,
easy to do, I know, but sometimes it just takes being reminded.
so you had something really
You
cool
already
happen to
chose
you.
all
What's that?
this.
We,
You already chose all this.
oh, right. Yeah, it does get pretty
But
hectic
sometimes
though.
you want to. It does, and sometimes you want to kick like your higher self's ass and just be like, "Look, I did not choose this. We are having a talk when I get back there."
Oh yeah, it's been a blast though. I've been really having a good time with everything. Even now, I've been like, it seems like I've been gone for days, but I've been like editing this video with Lynn McTaggart that's gonna come out tomorrow night. It
Oh,
was such a great interview with her, and been working on getting these books done and the book that we're writing, getting it edited. So much on my plate besides, coming on here with
yeah.
you all too. So
Now, Lynn McTaggart, she's the one who does like the mass prayers for love and light to whatever cause it is, right?
right, yeah, she's the one we base our Saturday night Power of Eight at 8 off of her book, The Power of Eight, which is just about using your intention to make positive change.
Right, with like 8 other people or whatever makes
Mm-hmm.
a 70% change or something in
Yeah,
crime or whatever it is that you're praying towards. Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, definitely. And I think we're moving into an era where we need to really start harnessing this power that we have with our intentions.
Yeah, yeah, I'm believing in it. Sometimes it just gets hard though. Like, I don't know about everyone else out there, and I hope everyone else is having an amazing evening full of love and light and enlightenment. It's great to talk to all of you guys again. The thing that I've been going through is like since Lionsgate, it's been like a dark night of the soul, and that is something for people to understand and kind of be able to talk to each other about because that energy is kind of doing it to a lot of people right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you've been hearing, but I think it's like one of those times for all of our souls to like really go through some struggle, to learn and get to the next step. But I've had some crazy stuff go on here in the vortex and, with the dark night of the soul, and I just thought it might be interesting to kind of tell everybody what's going on and hear about this craziness that happened here recently.
Yeah, now remind us, when was the Lionsgate? Was that August 11th or something? Or?
Yes, and my event started on August 11th. Yeah, so good recall on the date.
Yeah, it's just emails. I don't know why I couldn't remember you. I was actually talking about you the other day and I couldn't remember your name, but Pyra isn't very easy to remember. Yeah.
Pyrrha.
Pyrrha. Okay.
Yeah.
My apologies, Pyrrha. Okay.
Oh, it's no big deal. Sean, as I hear everybody call you.
Yeah, I don't know how many people walked up to me and they were like, Sean and Sedona, and I'm like, hey.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm used to it though. People my whole life have called me Sean,
Yep.
so I just go by either one now.
Yep, I understand.
Okay, so so let's get right into your experience because I'm sure everyone wants to hear about it.
Okay. Yeah, so again, I live in this crazy place and all these crazy things happen. So August 11th, like you said, Lionsgate, and like the shit just hit the fan. I've got a twin flame, and our love story is like, we could have like 5 episodes about it. It's like the most amazing story ever, ever, ever. But, like everyone else and, your twin flame, you go through these struggles and these things, and August 11th, he let me know that he wanted to take a trial separation or whatever. And it was devastating because we are so in love and everything is just, it's like I said, amazing. It was a great love story. Although there's a couple things that, there's just a couple things to work on or whatever. And so that's what was going on. But after we talked, I wasn't expecting it. And I was like super upset and crying and walking around the house and just, trying to make sense of everything. And I have helpers. I know a lot of other people out there have helpers, but for me, it's always been more of like a knowing. I know you know this, Shane. Like just, somebody says something and the answer pops into your head. It just, on anything, on everything, it's just really odd. And I also I get sent like visuals. Most of the time they're like snapshots or like maybe little film clips. I don't know how to explain it, but then, I'll have that and I'll go and research it and I'll be like, damn, that's a real thing, so I've learned to trust in it. And August 11th, right after this happened, for the first time I heard them, like not out loud, in the house, but in my head, although I know that it wasn't me. They're like, all of a sudden, they're like, everything is going to be all right. Go outside, there's a sign. So, I mean, what do you do at that point? You're just like, okay, this is really weird, but okay, I'll go with it. So I opened my sliding glass doors and just stepped out onto the deck, and from south to north, just above the tree line, through my trees and into like this gully area of my yard, shot a huge fireball. It was the craziest thing. It was like a meteor burning up in my yard. And I was like, what? I mean, it was the craziest thing. I couldn't even believe it. I stayed out there for like 25 minutes looking up into the sky like, shooting star. Was it headlights, from cars going by? Could it have been this or that? It was nothing. And, I kind of just knew anyway that it was a sign.
That's amazing.
So I, finally decided to get upstairs and try to get some rest and lay down. And it's like just as soon as I'm ready to fall asleep, something happens. Either I have to go to the bathroom or, then I come back and just about fall asleep. And then the dog wakes up and needs something. And then my cell phone lit up on its own and I caught it out of my eye. And it just was like no matter what I wanted to do, I couldn't go to sleep. And so finally I hear this, get up. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going with this. This is the craziest day ever. All right. And then I hear something about like Wish Upon a Star, that, Disney Pinocchio song, When I Wish Upon a Star, whatever that song is.
Right.
So I guess I'm supposed to listen to that. I know this all sounds crazy, but so I do, and it's like this really awesome song, you're going to get your wish, whatever, whatever. And so I was done watching that. I was just like, what the hell, And I said, give me another sign. I know that this is like crazy stuff happening, and I don't know what's going on, but it's hard for me to believe. If this is really happening, let me know. Give me another sign. I hate to ask for it, but that's what I'm doing. And so they said, go outside. And so I step out onto my deck again, open the sliding glass door. This is probably an hour later, if not a little bit more. And as soon as I step out, from north to south, at the same degree and the same trajectory, a second fireball goes through my yard.
Oh my gosh! Now, did you hear anything, or was it like?
I don't recall hearing anything. It was just like, they were both pretty big fireballs, and I live in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing out here that could have made it. And after the second one, I stayed out again for like 45 minutes that time, trying what could this have been? That was, what are the odds of that?
Right.
And so I'm curious, if anybody else is having anything like that. The weird part is, a week later, I decided to go back to the Midwest to be with my family, to have some support and be around some people. And there was another fireball there, and it was on the news. I saw it.
Oh, wow.
So
was it orangish colored or fiery colored? Someone was asking if it was an orange color.
No, they were white lights.
Oh, okay, so it was white?
Lights.
Okay. That's interesting, because the first one we saw that night when we were meditating together was sort of fiery colored, but the other ones were just, star colored white.
Cool. Yeah. But, this wasn't even like a shooting star. It was in my yard.
Right. Like above the trees.
It was the craziest thing. It came through the tree line and down about what I would say. I'm up on a big hill, and it came through this really low gully area. So probably when each one burnt out, I would say they were probably 12 or 20 feet up. But for me, it was pretty much like eye line to where it was happening. But yeah, they just shot from the tree line down to eye level both times, pretty much in the same. I guess trajectory is the right word for it. I don't know.
Right, yeah. That's so wild. So what do you, gosh, it was like so many things happening there at one moment. What did you take away from it?
I guess that everything is going to be okay. I struggled for a little bit with, I looked at meteors and meanings of, shooting stars. Where do you search for something like that happening? It just doesn't happen, so there's nothing about it, online to really search. But from what I get for it, and, most cultures, it means a positive thing is going to happen, that everything's going to be okay. So I'm trying to take it as that sign. For a little bit, it scared me because there are other cultures, one or two, that say that it also means an end. So that was kind of freaky.
Yeah, I think my mom told me that. That it was like
Who did?
My mom, when I was a kid, said, "Oh, when you see a shooting star, it means either someone's going to die or someone's gotten pregnant or something." I could be remembering wrong. You just sparked up that memory.
I've never heard of that before.
But yeah, that could be a bad memory. I don't know.
So that was really crazy, and that was the start of the big events. After that, I had a dog for the last 13 years, a golden retriever, and she was like, I don't have human kids. I had some experiences in the past that kind of kept that from happening. So she's kind of always been my angel, and anybody that knows us, she goes everywhere with me. She's my little, companion, my sidekick. And everyone that knows us, knows she's, she was never a dog. She was I don't know. She could she could do things that were funny to make people laugh, and had a great personality. And I felt we kind of we felt each other's feelings and were, really in touch. And so she was kind of like this angel for me. And I suddenly had to put her down. It was like the most devastating ever.
Oh, I'm
And
so
then
sorry to hear that.
2 days later, yeah, I can't even believe, like, I'm not bawling right now saying it, but I'm just trying to have faith in the universe and that, this is a lesson I asked for, and it's coming to me hard. Like I said, I want to, have a chat with my higher self, but it's been pretty devastating. So 2 days after that, I found out that my job was being eliminated December 1st, our whole department.
Oh.
And then 2 days later, I ended up having emergency surgery.
Oh, wow.
So it has been like a whirlwind of, like, dark night of the soul. And I think a lot of people are going through it right now. And I don't know if that's, a topic that you've ever brought up on your show or anything, but I think there's a lot for people to, like, learn and understand about that, because I think a lot of people are either going through it or are going to go through it very, very soon with the energy that's been out there. It's like a purging time,
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think it's a catalyst. I think we've talked about it before as under the title of catalyst, to get us to where we need to be, or to purge out what the
Okay.
unneeded stuff and things like that.
I'll go back and listen to that one. I think I remember seeing it.
Yeah, I think originally, my study came from the Law of One, when it was talking about catalysts to help get you to where you need to be. And it can be these seemingly horrific life events, but in the overall scheme of things, they help move us, they keep the momentum going, basically, and help us, to push us. And we can take it either way. Some people take it and they move more to the negative from it, and some people, it's to polarize us, though, to the positive or the negative.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And, the thing that, like, is giving me hope, at least with my, the twin flame in, there's not really anything I can do about the dog. And, I know that the universe is going to bring me a great job, and, I'm on the better side of the surgery. But one of the things with the twin flame thing that's interesting is, you and I have never gone there, like, on this end of, like, some of the other things that I've experienced. But, like, I remember my past life. I remember the end of my past life. And then I also remember being on the other side before I came here.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner, who's my twin flame, like, I remember standing in front of him, seeing his light body. I remember the helpers that were there asking me if I was sure that I wanted to go, that it was going to be so, so hard. And I remember saying, I know I can do it. I know I can. I can do this. And my twin flame saying, we don't have to do this. The karma's over. We don't have to go back. And I was like, I want to do it. I want to go. And I went. I made the decision on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned is, like, this whole thing is kind of like a soul lesson, from back then. Instead of, I'm really independent, and I'm trying to embrace my divine feminine and figuring out what that is. But I'm kind of one of those, I don't know, really independent gals. And what I'm learning is that this whole thing is like a soul lesson to get through, and I did choose this. And no matter how upset I am or, how negative I want to get, what I know in my gut is that I chose this, and this is a lesson to get through, and I'm going to grow from it. And I think that that's an important thing for other people who may be going through a dark night of the soul to hear as well.
Yeah, someone was saying you're not the only one. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going through different things. And I've heard that there was something really heavy going on about just in the air, just the energies have been really heavy, and they've sort of lifted. I haven't really dealt with anything, that I would say is extra heavy, other than the sleep things that I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't put your name on the screen. It's Pyrrha, you guys. Pyrrha. Pyrrha, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. So, yeah, I mean, whether you're going through it right now, guys, or, if it starts to happen for you, I mean, it's so hard to get on the positive side and remember, but if you really think about it, our souls chose this stuff, whether it's for us to learn or someone else to learn. whatever it is, you're going to get through it. You got to be strong, and it's going to be okay, and there's probably going to be some magic spread throughout as well.
Oh, definitely.
My new thing right now, I don't know if anybody else with the Ascension stuff, I've been seeing these tiny pinpoints of light that as soon as I see them, they zip by. And I don't know if anybody else is seeing that a lot more lately, but I've definitely been seeing that, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times a day for the last week.
Is it outside or everywhere or in the corner of your eye?
Everywhere, mostly inside, actually.
Wow. Is it like, do you ever get to see it directly or is it out of your peripheral vision?
Oh, yeah, it's been right in front of me a few times, most times, actually. I have caught it out of the corner of my eye before, but most of the time it's right in front of me. Like, I'll see the pinpoint of light, then it'll zip by, and it's probably like a foot-long trail or something that it makes before I can't see it anymore, and then it's gone.
Oh, wow. See, I get that
But
when I'm
the
meditating with my
helper,
eyes closed.
you can't see it?
I say I'll do it when I have my eyes closed. I'll see a pinpoint of light sometimes that is right in front of me, but
Oh,
typically
yeah,
it's out of the
yeah.
corner of my eye. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot like that. I get that a lot, like when I'm meditating before I talk to my helpers.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but my gut is telling me and has always told me that that's the pinpoint. When people talk about when they're having NDEs and things, they go into the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you're meditating and you're open, I think that's where it would come from, if that makes sense. That's why we see that pinpoint of light. I know exactly what you're talking about, Shane.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, because I'll close my eye and I'm like, what the heck is this? And why is it just
Yep.
right there? But it doesn't shoot like what you were explaining with your eyes open.
No,
Um,
no, it doesn't. But it does move. Like sometimes you have to look around in the darkness void to find it. Sometimes it'll be up at the corner left.
oh,
Sometimes it'll
yeah,
be down at the bottom. But
yeah, and it
once
doesn't
you
move with your
locate
eyes,
it,
so
you can hang on to it.
yeah, it doesn't move with your eyes, so it's not just light burned into your eyeball or whatever. Like when you look at something bright, it's not like that where you look around and it keeps moving with your eyes. It's like really there. So
Right.
yeah, but it's
You have to
always in different
locate it, though,
places.
like in your...
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear somebody else sees that, too.
Yeah.
That's what is so important about this show, talking about those things where you're like, wow, did I even see that? And then somebody else on the show will be like, I just saw blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, okay, this isn't that crazy. Somebody else is seeing this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I love about this whole thing because so many things, I think a lot of people are experiencing it. Those who aren't quite awake to what's happening and stuff, they just end up making an appointment with their doctor. They're like, hey, and then they tell them it's nothing wrong with them, and they just don't realize that some of these things are, ascension symptoms or something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, they're going to find out, once more
Right.
things start happening. If they're meant to wake up, they're going to wake up.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I did want to let
have you
everybody
had
know.
anything else recently?
Oh, sorry. There's a delay, guys. So sorry I keep talking over. It's not on purpose. There is a little bit of a delay. I did want everybody to know
Yeah,
that
there is.
you can actually call into the number and raise your hand if you want to talk, or if you just want to save your data on your phone and listen from your phone, you can also do that. And the numbers for the different countries you might be calling from, like there's one for Australia and the UK, Denmark, and Finland, and all those great places. In the description box below, the show ID number is the same no matter which number you use. Okay, sorry, back to you, Kira.
No, that's okay. I know you've got plenty of other people that want to come on and talk.
Oh, no, it's fine. Actually, no one else has hopped in here yet. I know we do have a few that wanted to talk, but they haven't made it on yet, so no rush. That's why I'm glad I have this service, because I can see if, it's a free service, but I can see if anyone's waiting, and I don't have to rush the call, so that's
Right.
good.
So have you had any new ascension symptoms?
Really, I haven't. Just with the sleep, strange things with sleep. Like I still get like that heaviness during the day where I just have to go lay down for a little bit, and And then other times I feel so energized in the middle of the night that I have to like force myself to go to sleep. I really don't want to, but I'll normally just meditate until I get sleepy enough to fall asleep when it's like that. But yeah, just strange things with
Yeah.
sleep. But I wouldn't really say, nothing that I would, nothing really noticeable beyond that.
It's funny because I think the more you get into it, it's like the more, I hate to say because it's such a gift. I don't mean it this way, but I mean, you kind of take it for granted a little bit. It becomes so normal, like the frequency downloads that you hear, or, the lack of sleep, or, those types of things that like become such a part of life that you just kind of go on with it and forget about like what a gift it is, or what we're supposed to learn from it, or what's supposed to be happening during that time.
Oh, totally. Yeah, but just to look back and see where I've come and how like so many things played out. Oh, I meant to put this email up that Frank had sent me because it was so cool because he was that Sandy lady that I was just talking about created that picture. He was like trying to figure out how to get a hold of her, and he was going to try to get a hold of her on Facebook, and he just decided that I'm just going to let it happen, manifest my connection with her. And then later that day I sent him this email saying, hey, this lady created this artwork, and here's her contact information if you want it. And so he actually, and to see that I was used in that way, for this higher purpose, unknowingly, but like,
Nice.
it's just weird to see that you're used in so many ways. And I think we get that a lot with other people where they say, you said something to me once that really made a huge impact. And a lot of times we might not even remember we said it. It's like, what was going on there?
Right. It's so important, what you're doing specifically. I mean, you're reaching so many people, and the things that are said on this show not only confirm, that what they're going through is okay, but it also spurs them on to, research new things and keep an open mind so that when, the next phase of whatever the gifts are coming, we're open to it, and we know to learn from it and to, what to do about it. At least we can try.
Oh, definitely. Do
But
you
your
get
show's been
synchronous?
awesome that way.
Do you get synchronicities, or were you the
What?
one that said that you didn't get synchronicities?
No, all the time. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Because I thought that was a synchronicity. Your story you just told, the whole wish upon a star and then the shooting star. I mean, I don't always see it as the clock. I see it as, any of those coincidental things that aren't really. I mean, for them to be coincidental is just mind-boggling. So I don't really believe in coincidences,
Yeah.
but that was a totally huge synchronicity.
You don't believe in coincidences?
No, I think that everything's purposeful, everything's orchestrated.
Well, yeah. I think the fact that the two things come together and they occur as a coincidence is orchestrated.
That's what I mean. I don't think
The
it's
fact
just
that, yeah,
chance, is what I'm
there's
saying.
no such thing as a coincidence
Right,
because
right.
it is all orchestrated. What you're saying, yeah.
Exactly. Let me
Gotcha.
see.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I totally agree.
yeah, so that
I have a
was
lot
a
of
huge
stuff.
one.
It'll be silly things, like somebody will say something super weird that you've never heard before, like the oddest combination of words. And then, 2 hours later, you'll be watching something on Netflix, and that same odd combination of words will be on. And then right after that, somehow it'll be like some prophetic message, that you'll hear, and you'll be like, wow, I was supposed to be paying attention to this. Yeah, it happens a lot here.
Yeah, I love those, the ones you're talking about now, where like you say something and it's said on TV, or you overhear somebody else saying it, or just little things like that. Especially if it's like the TV or the radio, and like you're like, what are the chances of that being said right after that?
Right. So you must be in the right place at the right time.
Oh, totally.
You got to be close to being on your path.
Yeah. Totally. I do
I
want to
think
tell
those
you
are
guys,
little
if you're
signs.
waiting to talk, raise your hand by pressing, I think it was star two. I can't remember now. If you're wanting to talk, if you're just listening, you don't have to press that. But if you'd like to actually get in on the call, you can press that, star two, or it might be star three. Michelle, which was it? I asked Michelle. She called with the down low all last week about all the buttons to push and everything. But I'm new to the system, so I'm not sure.
Michelle Wolf?
What is it?
Oh, Michelle Wolf?
Actually, Michelle's opinions.
Oh, okay.
the pen not
Yeah, you
working.
got a couple Michelles around
Yeah,
here.
you don't need a pen. You just hit 1 or something like that. You just have to follow the directions on the thing. You don't need a pen unless you're like me. I need a pen to get in there, but other than that, you just need the show ID. Is that what you had to press, Pira? You're like me.
I can't remember. It was like pound.
Yeah,
pound
like
1, I think.
pound 1, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a new system, but once we, at least I can see people are waiting or whatever, so it's like, okay, Michelle's opinions say *2 to raise your hand. So I know a lot of people like want to save their data, and so it takes a lot to listen into the whole show. They don't want to use up all their data for like a 2 or 3 hour show. So you can actually use your regular phone and just put it on speaker, and I won't like unmute you unless you're actually wanting to talk and raise your hand. So I thought it was good because people said, I wish I could listen more, but it uses up all the data to listen so long. So it's an option for that too. There's
awesome.
Michelle's opinion.
I meant to ask you, the 605-562-0444, did you choose that number?
No, I didn't. It just came up.
Are you serious?
I'm totally serious. That's the number.
The 444, that's the angel number. That means you're being guided, my friend.
I know. Isn't that awesome? I had to smile. That's the kind of thing that happens
awesome.
all the time, and I just had to smile.
Yep.
What can I do with it?
That's awesome. That's huge. Yeah, I'm a 444-888 girl. They're everywhere for me all the time.
Oh, yeah. I get the 444, the 888, the 3s and the 2s. I get so many of them. And they seem to run in like a few days ago, me and my son were both getting a lot of 1010s and 1212s and things like that, which is sort of surrounding the 1111 on the clock. I don't know. I just always, I don't really look at the deeper meaning in it. I guess maybe I should, but I was thinking of October 10th. I just kind of think of it naturally.
Right. 10 on 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Let me see here. All day I saw 144. Yeah, I get the 144s too. A lot of times I'll look down and we have 144 people in the stream. Now it's 90, but yeah, I get that so much. And I just smile. I just see it as like a wink, from the
Right. Yeah. You're on the right path. You're doing good.
Yeah, a signpost.
Yeah. The reminders are so huge, don't you think? Like, I don't know. I mean, especially when you have like 8 billion things going wrong, it's nice to know that at least you've got those little reminders, that this is all getting you somewhere, and they're letting you know everything's going to be okay, you're on the right path, you're doing good.
Oh, totally. Well, I guess we can move on to, I really appreciate you catching up with us. Don't be a stranger. It's been like 4 months since you called in, right?
I know. Well, I had a lot going on,
Yeah, but you were still on my mind. I mentioned you, I think it was last Friday night show, or maybe the one before, but I mentioned you and I couldn't remember your name for anything, but talking about you living on that energy center. Were you tuned in when I was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's an awesome place. If anybody gets a chance to go to Pilot Mountain in Mount Airy, North Carolina, I highly recommend it. I can call in another time and talk about the time we missed there and the things that happened up on the pinnacle sometimes. So.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, maybe think about doing a get-together there or something. Group meditation.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
At least a small one for people that's right around you. It's so awesome to meet people.
Yeah.
It's just, I had no idea how cool it would be, and then to maintain that connection when we all go back home. So I think it's that's what I think we're moving into right now, is that we need to connect more on a physical level,
Yeah, definitely. No, you're completely right. I mean, it started a few years ago, just talking online and, reaching out there and kind of risking being vulnerable and telling stories, and it draws people toward you because other people are going through it too. And, our families may no longer understand, or we may not understand, who they are, being in 3D, or, old friends or things like that. But that's why we're coming together, so that we have support, we have new families, and it's great to keep our old families and those connections, but we've got people who can understand us and help us grow and help us learn and support us, and that's we need to keep reaching out to people.
Oh,
We've got
totally.
to create this web of love and light around this whole planet, and as light workers, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And,
Totally.
that's what this connection is growing that love.
Yeah, I
Spreading
totally
that light.
agree. And when we make those connections in person and we go back home and those connections are stronger, the whole grid is stronger as a result of it. So I think it's a good thing.
Exactly. Definitely is a good thing.
Well, lots of love and light to you. I appreciate you calling back in, Pierre.
You
And
too, Shane.
I definitely want to hear some of these missing time stories from you. So.
Okay, I'll call back in sometime soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Gonna go right back to the phone line to whoops. Oh, there we go. Oh, let me see here.
Hi.
Unknown caller.
Am I unknown?
Yep, you're the unknown.
Can you
How
hear
are
me?
you? Yeah, I can hear you.
It's Ronnie in Florida. How are you?
Oh, Ronnie, how's it going? I'm glad to.
Great.
I saw the.
Oh man, everything is just golden.
Yeah, I saw you got it going there. Was it? What was the issue with the show ID? Did it?
Oh, operator error.
Oh, okay. Somebody else had
Totally.
that problem.
Yeah.
They left a digit off or
Yeah,
something.
I just don't listen to instructions well. There's too many numbers to push. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a hassle. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a hassle. I have to enter all those numbers, but it is nice that people can join from the internet, or they can also join by just.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just me personally. I don't do well with instructions, so I'm surprised I got anything accomplished in my life, because if I have to fill out a form or follow directions, yeah, it just doesn't work out well. So the trip to Stono is so awesome for you. I'm so glad it all worked out. It was beautiful. I enjoyed all the video that got posted and your talks about it. Really fabulous. Just beautiful.
It was wonderful. How's everything setting up for your move?
It's just going so smoothly. These people who are selling the property are like, they're a gift from heaven. They're beautiful people. They're just, when my son was getting his house, it was every little step was a challenge, to overcome. And I was ready to throw in the towel. And so this is the complete opposite. It's like, this is your place. We're going to get it ready for you. Here it is. So, there was a bad sidewalk. It was like a wooden walkway, and I think 3 different people, as we were all moving around, 3 different people almost fell because it was not in good condition. They're tearing it out and replacing it before anybody even asked them about it. They're like, yeah, that sidewalk is getting replaced. It's like, oh my goodness. So, yeah, it's just awesome. The property is beautiful. I got to go and walk around, and I didn't make it to the waterfall. My son had to take a picture for me. I was wearing tennis shoes. I bought boots so I could hike because I knew the ground would be rough. It's very clay soil, so it's very slippery, and it's very sloping. And I was in my tennis shoes because I forgot my boots because I was so excited. And so I'm trekking along on the side of a hill, and my foot kept sliding to the side of my tennis shoe. Like, it wasn't on the sole of the shoe anymore. The sole was still on the ground, and my foot was out on the fabric of the shoe. I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to fall and break my neck. So I stopped about halfway out because it got rougher from there. I was like, I just can't make it. So my son and his girlfriend got the photo of the waterfall, and I was like, this is mine. I'm going to have a waterfall. I can't believe it. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like everything that I ever dreamed about that I wanted in a piece of land is there. It's just incredible. So it's truly, truly a gift. I just feel so blessed and I'm thankful. I'm just so grateful because everything and everybody that has made this happen for me is just incredible. I mean, my husband could have put his foot down and said, no, I'm not moving. But, he's like, yep, if you're going to go, then I'm going with you. So let's go. So hopefully we have to get up some fence for the dog. He can fly over a 4-foot fence like it isn't there. So
oh, wow.
The fencing needs to be upgraded and made about 6 feet tall. So then we can actually take the dog with us. So that's the first thing. And then there's, just little things, some painting to do to make it, suit. But otherwise, it's just unbelievable. I'm so excited.
So when is the move date? Will you be in by the end of the year, or is it early next year?
Shooting for the end of the year to get in. I'm renting it for 2 months, and then we're going to close in January. And so they agreed that during the rental I could go ahead and put up the fence, because it sometimes you have to order the 6-foot fence,
mm-hmm.
and it can take like 6 to 8 weeks before it comes in. So I'm trying to find a fence contractor, get them out there, decide exactly where the fence has to go, and get it ordered. So that way, hopefully by the new year, we'll have fencing in place and we can be moving. But
so it's a done deal then.
I'm just trying to play it by. Yeah. We're working out the last bit of the contract, and I'm going to be sending them their first rent check here. So it's going to be interesting for a few months, because I've got to get this house ready to sell and get that house ready to move in, and trying to do it all to not disturb, the functioning of life.
Right.
Because my mom, she had done in her house, she had done a major renovation of her kitchen, and I tell you, just even doing painting and stuff, you're moving furniture out of the room and covering things up, and it smells, and so it really is disturbing. And so like here, the screen needs to get replaced, and I can't do that with the dog, because right now it actually stops him from. He went through it, and I think it hurt him. So now he doesn't try and go through it anymore. Yeah. So that screen already got replaced, but so it's it's just a lot to do, but it's all like I got to take a breath before everything starts. So, but life has just been so crazy. I felt the energy for like the past month was like really heavy, and in the last 2 weeks, it actually started right before I went to Virginia, that I just felt really, really heavy, even though I was so happy to be there and visiting my son and his girlfriend and seeing the place. It felt great, but just when I was not doing those things, when I was just sitting with myself, it was like, I just felt heavy and like off. Everything just felt like off kilter. And so that today I feel normal. It's like it's over. And I actually I think I explained how I communicate with my angels. Sometimes I hear like a voice, and I actually tested it. I was like, okay, I don't believe that I'm hearing your voice. I think this is my own voice, and I'm telling myself things I want to hear. So you're going to have to prove to me that you're you and not me. So it's like, okay, I don't follow the lottery at all. I don't buy tickets, and I don't know what the numbers are, and I don't watch the draws or anything. So I was like, okay, tell me a number from last week's lottery, from the lotto. And so I went on, and before I had even finished asking the question, I heard 12. And I was like, okay, 12, okay. So I went on and I checked and found the page that listed the lotto draws, and I looked, and it was not 12. I was like, it's not, it's me. And then I looked at it again. Something made me look at it again, and I was looking at something called Mega Million. And then there was Powerball, and there was another one, and finally down the page was Lotto, and the first number was 12. I was like, okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
Very
like,
specific.
Yeah, that whole thing about, is it just my own thought, or, and a lot of times I'll get this knowing, and it's like I get this overwhelming sensation of love and these chills that wash over me, and I know it's like, where did that come from? It had to be from a higher source.
Yeah, yeah. I swear, I feel hugs. I feel like a caress around, right around my hairline, down my cheek. I can feel somebody holding my cheek.
Mm-hmm.
When you're with your child, that kind of tenderness to
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah, I feel that.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's wild. Yeah, yeah. It's just such a beautiful experience. And I feel it in my solar plexus, that chakra, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I read after I felt it, when I first started doing my communication with the angel, I was like, okay, you're going to have to communicate better because I'm thick and I don't take hints well. So, if you're joking around, then, you tickle my stomach, and if you're saying yes, tap my nose, and if you're saying no, do something else. So I started getting that sensation in my stomach, but then it got really, really strong. So I started looking it up and found some man talks about angels, and he uses drawings, and he said your angels actually connect through your solar plexus. So that sensation right at the top of my belly, it apparently is supposed to be where the angel is connecting, and when they're very close, I can really feel it strongly.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's really interesting. It's been quite a year, a very interesting year. But I started out, I just used my tarot deck, and I don't even use a real tarot deck anymore because we had everything packed and I couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was using a tarot deck on the iPad, and it's the Fool something. It's got a picture of a dog on it. It's really good. I'll have to post the name of it. But it has like a whole bunch of decks, and you can pick all of them or some of them or one of them, and you can pick cards from the deck. Like there's a couple of decks that I just don't like. The imagery just bothers me. I don't use them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I went through and got all that set up. So it has a multitude of decks that it draws the same card from. Like it can pick, I think from like 15 or 18 different decks. So there's all these different pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at them, I don't follow the traditional meanings usually.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the picture and what does this picture mean to me? What on the picture is speaking to me? And I see, all of a sudden I'll see something I never noticed before. And it's like, oh, is it this? And I would check. So I set up where I would say, yes or no questions. And if it's no, well, let me start at the bottom. The ace of the minor arcana is he either won't say or he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then up to 10 is no. The page is maybe, and all the rest of the cards are yes cards.
Oh, okay.
So I was getting real responses and consistent, like I would say, are you an angel? And he would say yes. And I would, do other things. And are you an angel? Yes. Are you an angel? Yes. I mean, constantly. It would always answer the same question the same way. So I finally started to trust it a little bit more. But I just keep checking, I just like, okay, I really don't know what you are. I believe you are because of how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that a bad entity would feel like so much love. I mean, just blissful love. And it is so annoying because it has pushed me to in my growth. It's been like massive accelerated. After I lost my sister, I was severely depressed. I mean, severely depressed for years. And then I lost my dad, and then I lost my mom. And after that, I was like, I'm done. I can't go on being this depressed. I've got to live my life. I've got to come out of this. And I also, it felt a lot. I'm very empathic. I have always been, and everybody was always like, oh, you're too sensitive. You're too sensitive. But I feel things. I can't help it. It's just the way I am. When I walk into a room, if people are fighting, I want to run. I can't bear to be around the energy because it just feels like, I'm being attacked. It's horrible. So I did not realize that half of my depression was coming from my mom. And I just knew that it was really hard for me to be around her the last few years. And it was after my dad died. My sister dying was bad. And then when my dad died too, she was, I think, really depressed. But she never said so. She never just came out and said, I just feel really depressed. So I think that I was just carrying some of her depression around with me. So it became a lot easier after she was gone to deal with my own depression. So this has been quite a year for me. It's been like accelerated soul growth, accelerated clearing out my garbage, accelerated, deciding what to do with my life now. So
that's a strange
but
experience.
With that depression.
Sorry for the delay. It's a strange experience, though, to lose someone. You would think you would be more depressed, but realizing you were like empathizing, or I'm sure empaths in the audience will totally understand where you're coming from here too, is that all that energy coming from her stopped at that point. So although you're upset about her being gone, you actually felt less depressed. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. I felt terrible. I felt guilty. It was like I should be more just upset, But I was very. It was very hard. But it happened really, really fast. She had a stroke, and within just days, it was clear that she was not going to come back from it. She was deteriorating. She was developing pneumonia. Her kidneys were shutting down. It was just cascading. So it was. It happened really, really quick, and I just had so much to do because this time it was all on me. All the preparation, all of the handling, all the legal stuff. The other times it wasn't. Yeah. And so I had to pull myself together enough to be functional and get everything done that needed to be done. It is not easy to deal with everything, and she had prepared everything. She had a will, she had a living will, she had, everything was done, and it was still like months of torture to deal with all of the legal stuff. So, I feel so sorry for anybody who's going through this. It's hard.
It is. A lot of people are chiming in and saying they love you, and they're going through it too, so they completely understand. So.
Yeah. Oh, life is hard, but dying is worse.
Yeah, it is.
I think for the survivors, definitely. It's so weird because you're in so much pain, and yet the system is putting all of these demands on you to be out and active and doing things and talking to people when all you want to do is crawl into a bed and cry for a while,
Yeah.
So it, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't. I guess it depends on the person whether that is helpful. I know there was a man that I worked with. He lost in one car accident his wife, his baby, either her parents or his parents. His whole family in one car accident got wiped out. And he had been at work. I think he was why he wasn't in the car too.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was back at work. and functioning. I was like, I don't know how he's doing it. I would be such a mess. I don't know. People are amazing. The strength that they have is just breathtaking. People are beautiful and mysterious and bizarre.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I know, like, when my mom had passed, I tried to just continue on with life as I did before and just sort of pretend it didn't happen, and I think some people just feel more comfortable being what they're used to, even though it's work, and they probably should take some time to mourn and all of that stuff. And and I feel you. My dad had everything in order. I was the executor of his estate and everything, but even still, just having to go through and just deal with all of that stuff is just so hard while you're dealing with the grief of loss and all of that. So, yeah, and I can't imagine if, somebody didn't expect to die and they didn't have all their stuff in order. Oh my gosh, that would be so rough to have to deal with. So.
Oh yeah. It was not. I know my mom, she loved my dad so much, but she was so mad at him because he didn't do anything to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had a lot of mess. And that's why she was so crazy about making sure that everything was in order that she had. I mean, she had an envelope, that was on the counter in a different place than all the rest of her paperwork that said, open this if I die. I mean, it was the will and the deeds and, just all of that stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe she did this. And even so, it was still not a lot of fun. So, yeah. But in the past week, I have finally, because I had said in the chat that I felt like after being depressed for so long that it had just shut down my anything. I was still empathic, but I was like I had been psychic to a point before. Mm-hmm. My sister died, and I had talked about the dream that I had with her, but I had like times when it was almost like a remote viewing kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I was seeing through somebody else's eyes, and it was like seeing exactly what I'm seeing, like reality. It didn't look like a fake, like one was some kids had gone missing. I don't know if I talked about this before. Some kids had gone missing, and I was like, oh, where are the kids? Where are the kids? And I kind of like went into a trance, and all I saw was it looked like I was in a pool looking up,
mm-hmm.
out, but it was dark, and I could barely tell that there was like water above me, and I was looking at the top of the water, and from underneath, and I came back out of it, and I was like, whoa, I don't know what that was. Well, a few days later, they found the kids. The mother had driven them off of a bridge into the water.
Mm.
So it was like, I didn't want to know that.
Oh, right.
And, yeah, that was creepy. So, and then another one, it was another kid that went missing, and I was freaking out because the kid was missing. And I saw through his eyes, and and it was so weird because it was like under a bridge. I could hear water dripping. I could see the landscape out beyond, and it was in the shade underneath this bridge. And through my eyes, I didn't know what was going on. Through my eyes, I walked over to the water, and I bent down, and I reached out to touch it. And what I saw was that kid's face and his hand, reaching to touch the water. And his face was reflected in the water. And I was like, oh. And as I was, that kind of freaked me out, and I was starting to come out of it, and I heard a man's voice say, so tell me about the emails. And I was like, oh, that was weird. So I just kind of set it aside. And then I think it was like a year or 2 years later with that case. That was Trenton Duckett, I think. And it was a year or 2 years later. They had talked that the mother had an email, and that was suspicious. But then later on, like 2 years or a year later, they came out and they said, well, there was more than one email. There were multiple emails that were suspicious because she had killed herself, I guess. So I was like, wow, okay, emails, because I had clearly heard emails, not singular but plural. I was like, and that was it. That was the kid. But I saw him at a McDonald's looking up at a lady that he thought was scary. I mean, it was wild. But I lost it. I lost all of it, and now it's starting to come back. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought I had killed it, but it's back. So I started having visions this past week, and it wasn't anything cohesive. It was like flashing of lots of different stuff. But in all of that, I saw my angel, and I was like, oh, that's you. I know that's you. It was, you know what the Christmas star looks like when, like all the Christmas cards, they have that really long, stretched out star? It looked like that, except it was so much more beautiful. I mean, it was like alive looking. It was moving and active. Not like it was walking around. I mean, it wasn't a snapshot. It was, moving energy.
Right.
And it was just this gorgeous, gorgeous white light. And then it kind of flashed for a second, and it just spread out, and it looked like it had wings. It was like the Christmas star with wings. So I know totally where all of this vision of angels having wings, it's because that's what their energy looks like. So I went to my tarot deck, and I was like, that was you, and I got a yes. And I was like, was that wings? Were you showing me your wings? He's like, no, he hates that. He really doesn't have wings. He doesn't want wings, and he really gets pissy about it. So I was like, well, what was it? And he showed me a card, and the picture on it was like two people embracing. It was a hug. He was hugging me. So I was like,
wow.
Okay.
That's awesome. So,
yeah.
gosh, I've been wanting
So
my gifts to come
cool.
online, too, and to hear this, I can, you've got me sort of trepidatious about it, I guess, a little bit, because I'm like, well, I wouldn't really want to, I guess if it's helpful in saving a child or something, but that sounds like it could be bittersweet, to some gifts anyway,
Yeah. It really, after the second one, after realizing, okay, I'm seeing what's happened to children that have been, something bad has happened to them, and I want to see that. If there's family that needs to know what happened to them, I can see that. I can see that the not knowing is worse than knowing and being able to put it to bed. But I don't think that I could work with the police or do anything like that. I don't think I want to be that. So.
Oh yeah.
But the channel that I told, I think a couple of weeks ago, last time I was on, whenever I talked about it, there's another channel. Her name is Sheila Marie, and it's the Irish spelling, where it's SHEELAG. Sheila, like Shelag. And she does channeling, and she put out a thing today that said, these are the 30 new life purposes that are coming with this wave of energy. So I asked my angel, okay, is this true? I always check. It's like, is this true? Is that true? Is this person for real? So I asked, and he said, yeah, that's real. And I was like, okay, what number am I? So he said, you're number 19. So I went back to the video and counted, and apparently I'm a guide. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. I'm guiding. I'm the one who needs to be guided. Like, I don't know anything.
I know. I hear
so
stuff like that all the
behind.
time. I'm like, if I am, I sure don't. I don't see myself as a teacher. And some of the things I've heard before, I'm like, I'm just, I'm learning and I'm sharing what I'm learning with other people. It's not really like I feel like I'm Jesus or anything like that. You know what I mean? The great teacher. It's sort of like I'm on my journey, and I bring you guys along with us, me and my higher self, along with me.
Well, you are, though. I mean, really, you think about it, what you're doing is so important, because, you think about a classroom, any classroom of any teacher, and she has, maybe 3 students that want to be there learning, and the rest of them are there because they have to be there. And some of them don't even care that they're there, and they're doing other things,
Mm-hmm.
And you are a teacher for people who want to be here. You're bringing us, you don't have to be the one who knows it. You're bringing it. You're channeling our needs in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and just bringing people together
it's
too.
like,
just a place for people to come together and share their whole experiences. So.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, you don't know. I look so much forward to this every week. I'm like, oh, good, it's time for the call-in show, and then all of them. I love all of your shows. I have learned so much. I love the I Am discourses. That was amazing to me, to just sit with that. Okay, I am, and then it's like, okay, I am this, and I am that, and
Mm-hmm.
I am, I'm that too. So, it was really educational to me, to think in the new perspective. It was really helpful in letting go of all of my negative self-talk because, I have been my worst critic all my life.
Yeah.
So, I beat myself up constantly. It's like, I did that wrong. I said that wrong. I went the wrong place, So I was always, like, really, really down on myself, really hard on myself. And now I'm not, I always thought, okay, I'm just being honest with myself. I'm just being real.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more than that. It was, I'm a flawed person, but dwelling on it and beating yourself up with it and, keeping it going all the time, you're making it reality. It's not, okay, I made a mistake. I mean, literally, I would think about stupid things that I did when I was 5 years old. It's like, oh, God, I can't believe I did that. It's like, okay, let it go. Come on, that was 50 years ago, girl. It's time to let it go.
That is funny because I do the same thing. I've done the same thing. It's like it could be just something stupid I said that was taken the wrong way, and I'm like, why did I say it that way? And I can't believe how horrible that sounded. And then decades, it will just haunt you, And it's like, why do I beat myself up about that,
Yes. Oh, this one time, I got to tell you this story. It was so embarrassing. My sister was working for a vet's office, and they were having a party, and her husband couldn't go with her, so she's like, oh, come with me. So it was like a very informal outdoor barbecue kind of thing, but it was at this girl's house that she worked with, and so this was my first time meeting these people, and I met this girl, and she had a daughter that was not a whole, she didn't look much older than her own daughter, and I'm thinking, wow, this girl is aging so well, and I'm going to give her a compliment and tell her, wow, your daughter doesn't look very much, younger than you. You could be her sister. And she just ignored it. And I was like, oh, I guess she didn't hear me. So I said it again. Well, she ignored it because she took it as she had her child very young, in her teens, and it was embarrassing to her. And she didn't want to talk about it. So I thought I was offering her a compliment on how well she was aging, and actually she wasn't aging. She was just really young. So it was, I felt so bad for so long. That poor girl. I mean, if she could have killed me with her eyes, I'd be dead now. Yeah, she was not a happy camper. So, I beat myself up about it. Now I laugh about it, but before it was like, I can't believe I said that. Why didn't I just let it go? Why didn't I let it go? I had to be a compliment. I had to give her a compliment. Yeah, so
yeah,
totally different.
those little things like that. I one time we went out on a trip with our class or whatever, and I got a snow cone. We all got snow cones. Well, we were in the teacher's car, and it was really nice. And she asked for a bite, and I gave her a bite. But I was afraid, the snow cone was going to make a mess in her new car, so I like brushed off the top of the snow cone, and it totally looked like I didn't want to eat after her. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it looks like, I was disgusted by her taking a bite of my snow cone. And really, it wasn't like that at all. That's like been one of those things. She probably doesn't remember it. And I think it's like that with a lot of things. It's like the people don't even remember it, but, we just play it over and over and trip off of it, and it's not really a big deal. But why do we let it bother us for years and decades? Here it is. Over 20 years later, and I still think of that, and I'm like, oh gosh, she thought I was thinking she was disgusting, and I really didn't. It was just I didn't want it to fall off on her car because it was a completely different thing, but I know it was taken that way. And then I think, why didn't I just tell her? And I didn't. I just was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that, and just kept to myself about it because I was young and didn't know any better. But if I knew I'd be tripping over it for 2 decades, I would have said something. But yeah, it's little things like
exactly. Oh, that's so funny. Wow. Well, I had a dream. I had 2, but I'm only going to do one of them. And this one, it was so weird because I haven't been dreaming for a really long time. So when I had a dream and I remembered it, I was like, oh, dream. So I was walking along outside. I'm kind of half reading it because I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it because I always, some of them I forget them right away. Mm-hmm. And I was like a real small river running through the town, so I'm walking along a path that's going along this river. And I kind of was going out of town. And all of a sudden, there's an Air Force pilot. He was wearing his blues, and he had on his little wings, and he was walking along with me and showing me things and pointing things out. And then I sat down and I was soaking my feet in the river. Mm-hmm. But the water was like bathtub warm. It was really, really warm. And it was weird. But then I'm sitting there with my feet in this really warm water, and I'm looking, and across the river on the other side, there's it's like a cliff with, a cave. Mm-hmm. Not a deep cave, just a shallow cave in it, and it's being used for storage. So there's like all these crates and stuff piled up, and I noticed there's a guy standing with his face against the wall, like leaning, he's never going to leave. He's just leaning there, right, and despondent looking. And I was like, oh, why don't you come over here, and you can soak your feet in the river with me. Mm-hmm. And he did. He kind of turned around and looked at me, and next thing I know, he was over sitting next to me on the river, soaking his feet. And I noticed that when I woke up, there was a light in the room above me. It was like on the ceiling, but not on the ceiling. It was like just above me, and it was just not a bright light. It was like fog, like a cloud of fog that was glowing white and kind of flashing on and off. And so that was just weird. I mean, I was looking all around the room. This was when I was in Virginia, and I was looking around the room trying to figure out where that light was coming from. Like, is it coming in the window? Is it, coming from outside the room, out in the hallway? And there was no light anywhere. It was just this light up above me and flashing. So that was really weird.
Mm. It's really wild.
So if anybody has any information on white blobs of foggy light, share. I have no idea.
I'm sure somebody will have information. That's what I love about this group. It's like half the time I don't even need to know. I'm like, somebody will know about that. And so that's what I love about this group session like this. It is beautiful.
Yeah, well, that's it, I'm supposed to be a guide, and I'm asking everybody else, can you please tell me about this? Yeah. So that was the one I'll share, and then I'll save the other dream for another time. So I will let you go. And
I appreciate it.
I don't want to hog up your phone line.
We do have one other caller I can go to.
So much.
But yeah, I do appreciate you sharing that, and I love those vivid dreams that you can remember. I wish I had more of them. Gosh, I don't get them very often at all, but when I do, I'm real thankful for them. I need to start writing them down. I try to share them with you guys so that it's like on record, usually with Michelle when I'm on with her, because she does the dreams and stuff. So that's cool.
Oh, I wish she was here tonight. Maybe she could tell me about the. Yeah, he looked like Carrot Top, the guy in the grotto. Yeah, he was depressed. Yeah. Okay.
That's
well,
right.
You have a wonderful week, and I'll be watching all your shows. Love you so much.
Love
Everybody
you too,
in the
Ronnie.
chat, I love you guys. Man, you're awesome.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, got the wrong mouse there. And thank you to Ronnie in Florida for sharing that. I wish I knew more about dream interpretation. It's just like it's, I don't know. It's like I just kind of go with the, I don't know. It's like with that dream I had, and it's like, I think at some point you sort of figure out what it means, and I think only really the beholder of the dream can really know for sure what it means. It's like all speculation until it becomes clear. But I do love vivid dreams like that. I want to go back to the phone lines, 28337. Welcome to the program. Who am I talking to?
Hey, it's Sherry.
Hey, Sherry. What's
Can you hear
going
me?
on? Yep, I can hear you great.
Hey.
I'm glad you made it on.
Good,
I was wondering if you were
good.
going to make it on.
I made it. Devin's working out of state now, and he was, sad, so I was on FaceTime with him for a minute. I had to tell y'all, though, speaking of saying the wrong thing, look, I always do that, and I want to just say now, if I ever say the wrong thing to any of y'all, I promise I don't mean to. I'm, so bad about that. There was a girl I was in high school with named Coley, and this guy had dumped her one time and for this other girl, and I was trying to make her feel better, and she was crying, and I'm like, Coley, look, she is so much uglier than you. I do that. I do stuff like that all the time. I really don't mean to, and I get nervous, and I just say the wrong thing,
Oh,
but wait,
totally.
One more thing before I get to it. You got to hear this. Speaking of, you know how you were saying it's not like I'm Jesus or anything, right? Well, guess what? You won't believe what Darby did. She went to work. She's a waitress, and she's new at her job, and she knew she wasn't going to be able to get off New Year's Eve. And she told them that because of me and my mom's spiritual beliefs, that we have to go to this thing in Austin, Texas on New Year's Eve and meditate to bring the new year in for religious beliefs, and they let her off.
They don't want to touch that because that's a lawsuit just waiting to happen. You know what I mean? For those who know.
Well, yeah, I mean, now there's so many different religions, hey. I was like, Darby. But anyway, so, okay, what I was calling in to tell y'all about is since I did that BQH thing, I've had all kind of knowings and stuff. I mean, it's not like so, okay, I don't know if everyone heard, but Darby woke me up at 3 in the morning one night, and our sink had a logo on it, and it was LANXING. And everybody when we made the video was saying that they Googled it and they couldn't find it, and it's kind of been interesting, or whatever. And then it meant something scary, and so then I kept looking for something positive, and then I found something positive. I always bug you with all that stuff. I feel so bad emailing you all the time. I'm sorry.
No,
anyway,
it's okay.
So I was waking up, and I could hear someone talking, and it said LAN crossing, and it sounded like alien, L-A-N crossing. Like I thought it said alien crossing, but it was saying L-A-N crossing. And
right.
so yeah, and like the orb thing that was it Pura was talking about with the so like I don't see them straight on, I see them in my peripheral. Was that like white lights?
Yeah. Now I get them in the
What she was
peripheral
talking
too,
about?
but she's seeing them. And you know what I think it is? I should have brought it up with her. Is that I think because of the way our eyes work. When I was in art school, they were explaining the rods and the cones in our eyes and how. You'll notice this too if you're in a really really dark room. There's barely any light. It's hard to see anything directly in your field of vision, but your peripheral vision is more sensitive to light. So the way our eyes are designed is that we have the most concentration of the color right where we're looking, but then we have the most concentration of sensitivity to light, depending if you're talking about the rods or the cones, in our field of vision, like more in our peripheral. So I think that we're slowly changing, and of course our peripheral vision would be the first to notice those the light because it's more sensitive to light. And if we were looking right at it, I don't think we'd be able to see it because that's more of the cones of your eyes, the color part of your eyes. So I think the fact that she said that she started out the way me and you experience it with the being in the corner of our eye, I think we're just evolving and our frequency is changing and we're starting to see more and more. And I think it's going to continue.
Yeah. Yeah, because more recently I started seeing like, and it's peripheral because I'll see it, and then when I look right at it, it goes away. But I see rainbows in the sky that aren't there. Like, I mean, I think they're just like my rainbows because I see them. Then when I look right at it, it's gone, but it's a rainbow in the sky. And then, but what I was going to say about that alien crossing is that I do have this thing happens in my front yard, and I need to start having my phone ready, like when I'm going out to my car or something, and at night, it looks like a 6 to 8 inch ball, orb that's blue, will start like about 4 feet off the ground, and then it drops to the ground, and it leaves a tail, so it kind of looks like a pull for a minute until the bat catches up to it and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right in my yard, so maybe it is an alien crossing. I don't know.
That's really interesting. I just typed
I
it
don't
in
know.
the chat because just so people catch it. So it said LANXING on the sync. For those who haven't seen, this is actually overprotected. If you guys don't know from her YouTube channel, you can go over there and check out the video she's talking about. But she had this sync, this logo or this word appear on the sync that hadn't been there. It was Darby who noticed it, right? Your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yep.
LAN crossing, but now you actually heard, or I'm sorry, it's actually pronounced Lansing, I guess, but it looks
Right.
like LAN crossing or alien crossing. That's so funny. To put that together just phonetically, it sounds like alien crossing when you say it that way. Alien
Well, that's
crossing.
what I heard someone say that when I was like waking up, just like
That's
I have
trippy.
that happen sometimes. Some man voice and some woman voice. When I'm waking up, I'll have them scream something at me like they don't want me to forget it, and they say it like right when I'm waking up, like they'll yell it, like right when I'm coming back into life.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. So okay, I had one other knowing I'm gonna tell you, and then I'm gonna let you go. But I gotta tell you this. So okay, so I have that BQH thing, and I had a feeling before that I like somehow helped celebrity people in like the dream state. And what's weird is why did I never connect that Michael Jackson is a celebrity?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I had the two things separated in my mind.
Right.
And then I remembered back to some of the stuff I had written down. I was looking it up, and I had I'd had this dream one time that Michael Jackson was one of the ones that I just had randomly kind of in the middle of all this, that he was having trouble walking. So I was trying to help him walk like to a park bench, and then his little boy him was all of a sudden appeared on the left side of me, and I was holding his hand, walking him. So I'm in the middle of the man Michael Jackson and the child Michael Jackson, and I say, you, and I say it assertively. It's so weird how I can be like that in my, I don't know, and I said, you and you need to sit down right here and have a talk. And I put him on the, picked the little boy up, put him on the park bench, and left. So, I mean, there's that. And then, but in the BQH session, I got to hug him, and I could really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other time I had felt him was, had another dream one time that he was, okay, he told me to look up a book online and to buy it. And I'm sitting and I'm thinking, well, why doesn't he just buy it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, type this in and buy it. And then he was holding my hand, and I could feel his hand, like, for real. I could feel it in my hand. And I typed, and when I went to type it in, the book was titled, I Am That I Am.
Mm.
And that was all that I remembered.
That's wild. So someone's asking,
Yeah.
you didn't post that, did you? Your BQH session? Did you post it on?
Okay, I didn't post it because I was kind of embarrassed to. I don't know why that sounds dumb, but just like Barbie was saying, like, she was listening, she's like, Mom, she's like, that doesn't even sound like you talking, like, that's creepy. And
Now you made me want to hear it even more.
Listen, I had some missing time during that. It was like, I felt like I was, first off, it took her a really long time to get me under,
Mm-hmm.
like, because I was nervous, you know, me.
Mm-hmm.
And so she, like, had to double do it. And then I didn't think it would work, and then it worked, and then it seemed like it was, like, over. And then it was like I saw, like, say you took, like, the Bible, a thick book,
Mm-hmm.
and you start your thumb and you just, like, go through the pages really quick. I could see them in my mind's eye. All of a sudden I saw these book pages doing that, and then I had this memory, and it was kind of like, all of it was fast-forwarding, and I got all the information at one time at the end.
Mm. That's
Yep.
that's wild. So you actually had to listen back to it yourself then?
No, I really did remember it after it all got put in there,
Mm-hmm.
into my head. I don't know how to explain it. It was like I didn't remember it until the end. Does that make sense?
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And here's the thing that was interesting about mine is that I had never watched any BQH sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, but I'd heard, you know, I watched Allison, you know, like, and she would tell pieces,
Yeah.
you know, like about the event and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was writing up my questions, I made sure to put that in there so that I could try to get information for everyone. And so I really hadn't ever seen how one went, and I didn't end up doing past life, and I didn't get to see Jesus. I didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I got my questions answered.
I guess that's
so by my own self.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like by me. But anyway, the girl that did it, her channel is called Amber's Place. She posted it, but it's kind of hard to hear at the beginning, and then it gets like clearer.
Oh, it is posted. Okay. Oh, I see. Not So Fancy Nancy's
Yeah.
all over it. I didn't know what she was talking about. I was like, Amber's Place YouTube channel. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to hear, and also like it's, you know, it, and she doesn't have the induction part on there, because like Darby was scared if she played it, it was going to hypnotize her, and I was like, well, let me just turn it on and see, and it just starts right where after she already did it. So that's
Right.
good. You don't have to listen to all that.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff, but
typically
it's
leave
kinda
that
hard
out
to hear.
because they typically leave that out because they don't want people doing it on their own. Probably. I know, like with the QHHT, it's protected information, so they're not even allowed to post that part of it. It's against the rules. They'll get kicked out of the thing if they put the induction on there. But it's a good idea because you don't want somebody like tuning in on a drive, and, you know, and then they get. Okay, so somebody, Not So Fancy Nancy says, ask Sherry about FOTU, F-O-T-U.
Oh my gosh, you're going to die. Listen to this. I was really nervous. And, okay, let me just tell you all the truth. And, I mean, okay. I, I channeled while I was in there, and I always would be afraid of that. Like, I don't know, and it wasn't scary. It was like as if first off, a few days before I kept feeling like my consciousness was coming a little bit in and out of my head at bedtime. It would like, on the right side, it would like feel like it was coming out, go back in, come out, suck back in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like freaking out, and I said, no, I'm not going to freak out. I'm going to be calm. And so then whenever it came time, it felt like it came out, and I was like standing on the side at the beginning. And I was kind of like confused and all. Mm-hmm. And then I don't remember anything. And then at the end, I got all the information back, and I guess I got my orb back in my head. I don't know. So, and then, but what she was asking about was, whenever it asked, she asked who was she talking to, mm-hmm. And because I sounded intelligent and smart, mm-hmm. and what do you call it? Like, you know, I said my words good, and it said, hold on, okay. It said, who are we talking to? And it said, tell her, me, it's FOTU, Fairies of the Universe. And then it said, she'll be comfortable with that. And then I didn't get it until later because it was like a joke. And it was because it was like UTOF.
Right.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And then it said it called itself the Fairies of the Universe because to not scare me. So God knows who it was.
Yeah.
It was the aliens in the crossing. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, y'all can listen to it. I was just kind of I don't know why it's embarrassing because I'm like telling her stuff like she would ask a question. I'm like, you already know that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm like, you already know this subject or whatever. to the lady asking the questions, you know. Anyway, it was interesting. I would do it again. I had all kind of knowings and stuff afterwards, and so I just recommend that anyone do it. I've had a lot of like purging. I've had a lot of just dealing with stuff, kind of. A lot of things come up, and I like figure them out and everything real quick. It's been really interesting.
Wow. So overall, it's been an excellent experience. Have you thought about actually taking the BQH course at all?
Yeah, I thought about it. I think I just have a lot of stuff going on right now with Devin being out of state, and he's been costing me a lot of money. But I think that's kind of getting caught up now because he's finally making some money now. Finally, poor thing. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I've thought about maybe I'll treat myself to that later. You know, like right now I'm just enjoying all of you guys doing it. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. But I just think like, you know, I don't know, just people close to us that, you know, I see it as like instead of really, I think it makes more sense because BQH is so much affordable to instead of, you know, going and paying for one somewhere else to learn how to do it. And maybe a couple of, like say you and Darby learn how to do it and then you guys can do each other with it. Or, you know, you can do your son and stuff like that. You know,
yeah.
If people are willing to.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. And I do feel like there's definitely a connection with Dolores Cannon in this group, because that was actually one of my questions, because I couldn't even listen to a lot of her stuff because I would cry. Because I felt really connected to her, and I didn't know what it was. And it actually said that because I moved away from my grandmother when I was like 3 or something, and that their voices were similar, and that it just triggered like a grandmother. It triggered like my grandmother or something when I would listen to her.
Yeah.
But it did say that I had some past lives with her.
Oh, wow.
I say it said, whoever it was me, I guess, you know, my higher, smart, assertive self.
Yeah. Hey, if one of the mods can
Oh,
find the link to that, you can paste it into the chat so we can go watch it if any of you
I'll
know
put
where to
I'll
find
put it I'll put it in there for y'all. But just remember, it's kind of hard to hear it, at the beginning and stuff. But the last thing I want to say is this: there's one thing in there that nobody's going to get, and that was the first thing that I got. Was I was like asking some questions about an experience I'd had about like what I thought might be like a twin flame thing, and it said I would die for Riley. And what's weird is one of the movies I watched with my grandson is called Inside Out, and it's where the emotions are like controlled. They like have personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, there's this part where all of a sudden this boy pops out, and they're like, and all of the emotions are like, wait, who is this? And then this one answers and says, oh, that's the imaginary boyfriend. And then he's like, I live in Canada. It's like you'd have to see the movie to get it, but it was just funny. It was so me because I'm into cartoons and stuff. It was kind of funny, but that's what that is, because everybody's gonna be like, what is that? Anyway.
So it's from Inside Out, though? Because that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I think maybe my kids watched
it's neat. The little girl, she all of her emotions in her head are the characters,
Mm-hmm.
So like there's the grumpy one, there's Joy, and there's the nervous Nancy one. Yeah, it's kind of neat. But anyway, I want to let you go so you can move on to someone else. But I just had to tell you all that stuff,
That's exciting. I can't wait to go listen to it. That's
Yeah,
I love
like an
the
hour long, though. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's just normal. And I watch the ones I do watch. I normally put them on double time because people are talking slow, so it makes it even out just about right anyway. So you know what I mean? 'Cause
you'll probably really have trouble hearing it then.
Oh no,
look, you already hear me talk double time all the time.
Right.
I'm always like blah 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 blah. Anyway. Okay, all right, I'm going to let you go, and I love y'all, and everybody have a good night.
Lots of love to you, Sherry. Thanks for everything you do, and for those who aren't subscribed to her channel, check it out. It's when you get back in there, you can click the three little dots or hold your finger on her name or whatever, and it'll open her channel in a new tab, and then you can subscribe and find that stuff. But the link to your BQH session is actually... it looks like Kate and Michelle posted it in, or somebody did.
Oh, good. Thank y'all. Actually, Michelle's the one that helped. I want to thank you to Michelle's Opinions for helping me get that session. That was awesome. I appreciate it a lot. So I want to tell her thank you. And the last thing is, I'll leave this for you as a surprise. Guess what maybe, if it's correct, we broke the code on the Michael Jackson thing with the ... arrow up in there.
Oh yeah, what was it?
That was the first question.
Oh,
it's
done in the. Oh, okay. I didn't know you meant in the session. Okay, yeah. So I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, that's how I found out. Yeah, I won't go into that now. I'm gonna let you talk to someone else, but.
Okay.
And but anyway, you need me to send you the email with the Austin word on it, or are you gonna just put me and Darby on there?
Oh, I already stuck you in there today when you emailed me. So.
Cool.
In the Austin
folder.
Okay.
All right, good.
Lots of love to you, sis.
I love y'all.
All right.
All right. Good
Bye-bye.
night. Okay, bye.
Sherry, Overprotected, and we actually did a show together about the Michael Jackson stuff. So if you haven't seen that, that's a while back. She can post it in there if you would. Sherry, Overprotected. You can post in that link to that Michael Jackson one, because that was a while back. People might not have seen it. A lot of newcomers in here, but I found that to be so fascinating the way that all worked out. Okay, going to go back to the phone lines to a 514 area code. Who's on the call with me?
It's Nancy.
Nancy. Did you call the right number this time?
Yes.
Okay, thank goodness.
I did.
Because you're on hold for a little bit.
I haven't seen my bill yet.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's true. I remember. Is there still a delay now that I'm calling from the right country?
Oh, it's probably a little bit of a delay, but.
Yeah. Okay, I hear it. Okay, so listen, I'm not going to take much time. I just have to tell you guys. Okay, this is to all of you in the chat and the ones who are not there right now, and to you, Shane, of course. the whole Soul family. I'm at dinner tonight, and I hesitated going to dinner because I know you come on at 8 o'clock, okay? I just couldn't wait to get through dinner because I rather spend my Friday nights with all of you guys.
Totally.
I'm sitting
Yeah.
there
I'm so
with
glad we're doing this.
other
I look forward to
people.
it. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I just couldn't wait. I just had such a blast with all of you. You just fulfill me, uplift me. There's so much love and joy in here. And okay, I don't want to get emotional. I just felt, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
I just love you all so much, and I wanted you all to know that, and I couldn't wait. As soon as I said goodbye to them all, I was like, okay, bye, guys, I got to go. I put you on in the car and just to listen, but I couldn't really read the chat while I was driving. Got home as fast as I could, put you back on, try to catch up a little bit, and I'm going to watch the rest from the beginning again, but just to let you know how much you guys, I appreciate you all so very much. I love you all so much. And I am going to ECETI whenever you pick that date, okay? And
Definitely.
I want to meet as many of you as I can, okay? I love you guys. I'm going to go back in the chat.
Okay. Love you, Nancy. Thanks for calling.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Not so fancy Nancy from the chat. Susan, is that you with the 405? You guys, if you want to talk, raise your hand by pressing *2, and I will know that you want to come on the program because we do have several people in here right now, but nobody has their hand up. So I don't know if you're just trying to save on your data and listen on the phone. So if you would like to speak, you can raise your hand by pressing *2. But yeah, that's always wonderful to hear from Nancy. And Canada, she called the last time we had her on, she accidentally called the U.S. number. So I think this is cool because we were trying to do the Facebook thing, and it's just difficult to have so many different ways of people contacting. But this one here, I think there's pretty much numbers for all of the English-speaking countries, at least, to be able to hop in here. And let's see, 405. That could also be Carrie, huh? And maybe he's listening from his phone. But yeah, the plan is Austin for New Year's. New Year's is actually on a Tuesday. Let me pull up my calendar just to get things straight. So yeah, looks like Tuesday is January 1st. So we were talking about getting together Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. So Monday would be the main day where we meditate / pray in the new year, combine our power of intentions to bring about a wonderful 2019 together. And I think, just meeting each other is just going to be awesome. We were talking about doing drum circles and, well, it's in Austin, so it doesn't get too awfully cold there. And I'm already going to be using my power of intention to make sure we have a nice warm New Year's there, even above average, because it can get down into like the 40s at night. So, yeah, so we're just working on that. And if anyone has any venue ideas, I am definitely open to suggestions with that. Let's see. Oh, there it is right there. The Harmonizing Fool was asking for the link. It's there, right there, Overprotected just posted it. You got to check it out. It's just the synchronicities involved with her and her connection with Michael Jackson. And, she wasn't even like Michael. She was more of a 80s rock girl, not Michael Jackson. It was like, so once you hear about all that and you see all these connections and synchronicities around Michael Jackson, you would think, if they were just coincidental things, it would have to do with just someone's just a huge fan and they're obsessed with Michael Jackson. And while it would appear that Sherry's obsessed with Michael Jackson now, it's for really good reason, because all of these things that have come up with her, all of these synchronicities, just that story about Taco Bell and all that, you just got to watch the show, because while, all of us are used to these crazy things happening and other people might write it off as coincidental, we know at some point you would have to be crazy to think things are just coincidences when they keep falling in line the way they do. Okay, nobody gonna raise their hand? Star 2 if you're wanting to talk. If you're just listening, that's totally cool. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was so funny. I just felt like that was an attempt to sort of rain on my parade before my Sedona trip when they demonetized me. I'm like, dude, I'm so riding high on life. This isn't going to bother me at all. So, let's see, what's your email address again? It is, you can go to uotf.net and contact me through the webpage, or you can just contact me through my Gmail, which is shanecrob@gmail.com. Shane C. Rob, I'll type it in here, at gmail.com. There we go. It's in the chat. I can put it there without the spam bots getting a hold of it, but I can't really put it in the description. So, but yeah, you can also go to uotf.net. Biker Babe! We need an update from Biker Babe, too. I know it's probably, I don't know if it's too late for you now, but the phone lines are open. Nobody's raising their hands. So, if you would like to call in, Biker Babe, we could hear from you. Love to hear from you. If you're working, I totally get it. Let me see here. Oh, I know. Yeah, that's a pretty long journey. Not so fancy Nancy from Canada to go all the way to Austin. Yeah, I'm in Tulsa, and it's like, I think 6 or 7 hours from here. Oh, Susan's calling? Susan, I think there's 2 of you in here. There's two 405s in here right now. No, it just went down to 1. No, it just went down to none. So yeah, I don't know if you were talking about Venus above. Let me see here. Venus. I can't wait to hear that, Sherry, the BQH session. I love that. Especially when it's somebody I know, so that's really cool. I will probably be doing mine soon. I was wanting to do it in person, but I think I'm gonna actually do it with Lauren Hansen, a BQH online with her real soon. I just haven't pulled the trigger with it. Also, there's a lot of things I got on the list right now, so I have a really interesting guest that I'm going to try to get on early next month. Yeah, you can do that, Michelle's Opinions. Trying to scroll up and see what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, it looks like everybody left the call. Is that you back, Susan? I don't want to unmute the wrong person. That would be pretty awful if catch someone off guard. So just hit star 2 if you want to talk, if that is you. And I will open it up for you. I'll keep an eye on it over there. Let me see here. Let's see. Am I missing anything here? Oh, there's a hand. I think it is Susan. Let me see here. 405, you are on the air with me. Susan?
Are you sure? Hello?
Yep.
Are you there?
You're really here.
Oh my gosh, I tried so many times.
It wouldn't raise the hand for you, huh?
But in between. Yeah, it's weird. I think I was on there twice, like you said, and I didn't know it. I thought because you said I don't see any hands, I thought I was on there. I guess I'm not. So I dialed it again. Are you there? Did I lose you?
No, you're here.
Okay.
There is a delay,
I'm
though.
too close to Terry's computer. Okay, I'm going to walk out of the room so I don't hear Terry's computer. I'm hearing Jones, and that's where I've stayed with Terry. There's so much, so I'm going to try to economize my words. But, oh my gosh, it's going to be a little challenging. I did drink a beer. That probably did not help, but I was a little antsy. So anyway, I love this. I wanted to follow Sherry. That was awesome because I didn't have a chance to get hold of her in the email. Just it's been kind of a lot going on. But the synchronicities around my brother's passing is what I want to share about. And I was wanting to talk to Sherry about some of it anyway. There's things that I wanted to tell her about because her grandmother was the turtle lady. That is so cool. And my son's spirit animal or reptile was turtle. And anyway, Terry, during the, excuse me a second. Terry, I have ADD, right? And
Many
Terry's
of us
in the
do.
refrigerator. I'm like, what is he doing in the refrigerator? Anyway, I'm trying to talk. Yeah, anyway, so the turtle lady, okay. My son's spirit animal was turtle, and my daughter had a tattoo made after his passing with a geometric symbol he had made that was circular, and she put it in the shell of the turtle, and it was just beautiful. And but she was, I think before she even had that done, we were all in the still grieving, and she was at a bar, and she was drinking, and she was crying, and this woman found her, this young lady found her, and she had a necklace that had a beautiful turtle on it with green stones in the shell. And she said, I'm supposed to give this to you. And it was just so, I mean, of course, Shira just, broke and was blessed at the same time. Mm-hmm. And around my brother's passing, there were some really great things that happened too. And we did get an orb visitation.
Oh, yeah?
And my mother,
that.
Yes, it was so cool. The night after he passed Saturday afternoon. Okay, I'm going to back up. I had gotten online with Jose. It's been really busy for me, so it's just hit and miss when I can jump in. And I got on Hang Out with Jose when she had Lena on last Saturday. Mm-hmm. And she was doing the readings for everyone, and I thought that was just so nice. And Jose was also doing hers with her, and anyway, I didn't know how they were going about that, but all of a sudden I heard my name, and I tried to get back over to the chat and listen, and when Lena, the card, she said something about them being upside down, and she didn't expound on that, and she wasn't sure I was right there listening. I think they miss it. She touched her face and said there was pain in my cheek, and that's where I've had lifelong, problems with infections in my sinuses and stuff. But, that's another story. I thought that was quite amazing and definitely had my attention. I sat down on the couch, and then she got emotional. She said she was going to cry. And, I just feel like, she also said that I had experienced pain from someone. And, I kind of thought about that because I feel like I've worked through a lot of healing with past relationships, even some of the ones who have passed. I feel like I've I was privileged to kind of, even someone that was alive, I saw their higher self and we had a conversation. It was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wondered what was unresolved there. But more importantly, I kind of think that she was experiencing what was about to happen. And my brother, maybe an hour or so after that, me being on the hangout, I was, my mom and I were getting a salad, and my brother had whatever was going on inside of his stomach attacking in such a way he wasn't able to overcome it. And his passing was so fast, and I was able to be there to support him, physically, a hand to hold. And his eyes were big, but I don't think it was fear. It was maybe, oh, my God, this is it,
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know. We were talking about taking him to the ER before his next doctor appointment because we were very concerned about him.
Mm-hmm.
But he went very fast. And like I said, the eye contact with him, it was really beautiful because while it was sad, I couldn't help but grin because I was like, my God, you did it. You were ready and you did it, and it was fast. I'm so happy for you. In that sense, I would go in and out of that sense, and I felt kind of silly at the doc. We were in the hospital and we were dealing with all the mechanics there,
Mm-hmm.
and the chaplain felt like they had to hang around us, and it was just weird. But sometimes I couldn't not hide the smile. I was so happy for him. And I've had the experience a few times of a person's passing where I had very strong sense of joy. And then my daughter, when we were in the service, she said she saw him running at full speed. And in my, interacting with Mike, feeling like he was close by, I was, thinking about him and talking to him and seeing him like he was when he left. And it was like I felt him say, stop looking at me like that. I don't look like that. I am so handsome and young. It was like, oh, yeah, you are, aren't you? Well, darn, okay, yeah. And so I started thinking about him in his youth, and then I saw the picture they had put in, the little memorial by where they did have a viewing for him, but it was him in his football gear and looking just like I thought of him when, I felt him say that to me. But I was talking to my friend on the phone, and I said, Veronica, I think I need to hang up. And I want to sit down in my brother's chair and talk to the cat. And the cat had been, sticking super close to Mike for the last couple of weeks. And unusually, he usually remains outside until it gets really cold out, and then the cat will come in at night and stuff. But this cat's been hanging with Mike, and Mike was starting to get very cozy with the cat, and his name is Muffin. And he started calling him Muffy, which was just so funny. I go, oh, my gosh, you guys are so chummy. That is so hilarious. You're calling him Muffy. And so I started calling him Muffy as well. But so that's why I thought I'll bring the cat in my lap. And I was sitting there petting Muffin and just knowing that he already knew. Mm-hmm. And he jumped off my lap, and he jumped up on the bed, Mike's bed, and he was staring. And I thought, I might need to get the camera. And my mother, having seen my orb videos, really, very, Shane, our background is so yours. I mean. And my mom is so coming out of the box. I'm so proud of her. And I love listening to Sherry and Michelle talk about their family interaction. What a privilege to be waking up together with our families. And, my gosh. What a privilege, and, I hope that the energy of that helps those who have all those divisions in their families because they can't talk about these things that are going on. But anyway, I just wanted to side note that. Back to where I was at, the cat, I turn on my camera, and the cat is seeing orbs, and I get so excited because this is Mom's orb visit, and it's the day Mike passed. Oh, my gosh. So I start hollering to my sister and my mother, they're here, the orbs are in here, come in here, and so they come in, and we are just in awe, and I just, I'm going to post it. I haven't got it up yet because I've gotten stumped when, I don't know what to call it. The other ones that I've posted, I knew I had this this was this, and I felt the title, and I felt the energy of the message with it, But this one, I was stumped. I didn't know what to say. So I'm working on that, but I'm definitely going to post it, and I'll share the link on one of the next videos you do in the comments. I do not know how to use my tools very well, Shane.
It's easy once you get used to it, though. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know how to highlight. Everyone else will highlight, and you can see that they're talking to you right away. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I've tried it, and it doesn't seem to work.
Are you on a phone?
I did get a link up, though. Huh?
Are you on a phone or a computer?
Yes, I use a phone.
See, I don't know how to do it on the phone either. Maybe somebody can type it in how to do it on the phone. I know on a computer you can hit the @ and begin to type the person's name, just 2 letters of it, and then it pops up your choices, and then you don't have to type the whole thing in. Because I know some people are like, they don't want to type unbiased and on the fence in there every time. A lot of people just put @Shane, but that doesn't make it glow, for me. So I'll miss something if they just put @Shane. But you can actually.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, you can actually type it all out. So, like Jose, welcome. I normally just type her name because it's so quick, and it will just show up, without the @ sign in there. But by hitting the @ sign, it makes it. Yeah.
Well, we manage. We manage anyway. It's fine. But
I did want to add to what you were saying, though. I don't know if you saw the program when I had Case from Everyday Masters on, and he was talking about, actually it was on one of his videos, but he was talking about it when he was on with me, about this friend of his that was like, what did they call it, a death walker? Or, I forgot. They had some kind of cool sounding name with it, but it was his friend that would go into hospitals and assist dying people into going into the afterlife. And like basically because it's like this portal opens, and I just got this vision. I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling you this or whatever, but it just came to me that overwhelming joy is from that portal opening. You're sensing your higher self assisting them into walking into the afterlife. And I'm getting the chills right now just telling you about it. So
that was it, Shane. You nailed it. Thank you.
So maybe that's
I was the one that was great.
Maybe that's something that, I know he was actually, he had to get certified or whatever to go into like hospice or go and help people in the hospital. But for you to feel that joy at that time, I think you have some kind of connection there that it might be a gift that you need to explore, just an idea, I don't know if it resonates with you, go with it.
Wow. Right on. Somebody earlier in the show, I somehow managed to read some of them. I mean, when I was driving, I just used my mic, but maybe like at a stop sign, it seemed like someone was saying that this is what you do. You help to, see a thing and encourage it, and that's awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, and I don't know if you're subscribed to Case with Everyday Masters, but he doesn't put out a whole lot of videos, so you could probably go back and find the one. It's called something like Death Walker or something. It sounds ominous when you read it, but it's really a cool video about him activating and helping his friend reconnect, and then that's like what he does, and it's a joy for him. You think it would be like a bad job to have to go do, but he actually enjoys doing it because he sees the fuller picture of it. Just like you, feeling that joy at a time when people around you are probably like, why is she smiling? Somebody just died. Because that portal opens and you feel that joy of what's really going on in the unseen world.
Freedom, Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I will put some definite thought into that because it goes along with the journey I've been on through my life and, being in home health care. In fact, Terry, who is here in Jones, I'm out here. I've stayed with him for a couple of years, and we are dear friends since I've known him since I was 17. And the first home health care job was taking care of his mother. And she was beautiful, and I learned so much through that, but it started me on kind of a road, and it's just kind of interesting. And I wanted to tell Sherry that in the service, they played Man in the Mirror. It was just awesome in his photos, because that was how they saw him, as someone that had to look in the mirror and, really address some issues. And there were so many beautiful things that happened. And, oh, my gosh, I have to tell you guys this. This is a jaw dropper that happened at the funeral service. Okay, get ready to laugh. And at the same time, I don't know. There's this family member on my niece's side, and I knew them in high school. A couple of my brother's friends that were just, I was just so shocked to see. I mean, I got a blast from the past, showed up. And David Abney was his name. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, this guy, anyway, he's at the service, and I'm oh my gosh, I haven't seen him in so long, and I'm excited to see him and my friend Jeff, and I'm talking to them. And then Barbara sees him and says, "Is that David?" I said, "Yes." My gosh, you know each other? Yeah, well, I went to high school. She was a couple years older than me, and she said, okay. And so they started talking. A few minutes later, she comes up to me, and she goes, "He's got a baby he doesn't know about." And I just told him. I said, "You did what?" He's got 3 grandkids. I said, "What? You did what?" Oh, my gosh. She just went. She goes, "It's okay. He needs to know." I'm like, okay, maybe a cup of coffee down the street. Really, Barbara? This was so hilarious. I just love it, and I just could feel my brother laughing his head off about so many things that happened at that service. It was so funny. But anyway, gift in the morning, and I did grieve. I mean, when I saw my niece's daughter, I mean, I had some beautiful, understandings of what Mike was, they're interacting. Okay, my brother was a drug addict and an alcoholic all of his life, and those kids grew up with that. And in the past several years, he's been sober and living at my mom's and ill. But the kids have, like, loads of beautiful memories with Mike. I mean, he was a loving father. He was just absent and a drug addict. And so they didn't have him the way they needed him. And this was his mission to resolve all of his issues. And he had done that so beautifully. I think before he had come close to death so many times. And he had been afraid. Even though he knows and he has faith in God, he still had a lot of things he was bearing, and he was afraid. And I think, in the last several months, he had really begun to resolve that. And one day I had, his body odor, because you know how these people on COPD, and they're still smoking those few cigarettes a day. They have to go out and smoke, and their nose things turn dark, and so we had to watch that stuff. But he had sprayed himself with this cologne, and my mom goes, "Go back there, Mike wants to talk to you." And I walked in, and I go, "Yeah, what's up?" And he goes, "Come here, I want to give you a hug." And he just started bear hugging me. And I said, "Okay, that was nice. Thank you, Mike." He goes, "I love you." And I go, "I love you too." And then I was just grinning at him and looking at him like, "Okay, what's up?" And I go, "Well, you smell good. Did you just have a shower?" And he goes, "No, I just wanted to give you a good hug, so I sprayed myself." Because he was really kind of pungent. It was fun. But anyway. But he was doing that kind of thing. When people would come over to the house, he'd call them back, and he would give them some love, and he was telling us he knew it was getting close. So just wanted to encourage all of you, with those beautiful gifts that happen in the midst of all the sadness. And there was a lot of that, too. And I'm going to sure miss him, but I appreciate you guys. And my mom's starting to understand and look for numbers, too, now. I kept seeing the 2s, 1, 2, 3, and the 2, 2, 2s, and I had mentioned it to Mom, and I'll take photos of it now on my phone, because I'll just go, okay, I just opened it up, there it is again, screenshot. Yeah. And so, yep, but Mom goes, she came out of the bedroom the other day, and she said, "I saw 2, 2, 2." I was like, that. Cool, Mom. Anyway, I think that'll do for now. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you for calling in and sharing. And it's always wonderful to hear from a fellow Oklahoman, not too far away.
Oh,
really.
Yeah, wait a minute. I got to ask. Yeah, I forgot. Where does Terry live? I thought you said, is he an Okie? Does he live near me?
Oh, actually, he is from, let me think of the name, because I said something to him, and he thought I was talking about...
Some little small town?
It's somewhere down.
We've got
Somewhere down near you, but he doesn't live there anymore. But his phone number is still down there, so he's still got a
got
405
it.
number. But he lives actually in Las Vegas,
Got it.
not Nevada, but Las Vegas, Arizona, or
Whoa.
was it Arizona or New
Oh,
Mexico?
cool.
Las Vegas, New
Mexico?
Mexico.
New Mexico, maybe?
Yeah.
It seems like maybe you said that to me. New Mexico or Mexico, I don't remember. Like when I asked about it. Where does he live? When y'all were doing the show together.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was so nice.
Yeah, so we met actually in Albuquerque. So he lives north of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and near Las Vegas, New Mexico. Because I was wondering about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can actually join in if you go to the website. It's talkshoe.com/show/love stream. It's in the description box below. You can go there and join that way if you are on a computer instead of a phone and you want to call in that way. Let me paste that link in there for you. But awesome. Yeah, I need to get the get-together for us here locally, too. So I'm still working on that. I need to go in there this weekend, Saturday. I'm going to try to go in there and meet with that guy tomorrow. I keep missing him. He's supposed to be there on Saturdays, but he wasn't every time, so I keep missing him. But I want to make sure. Oh, and I pasted the Deathwalker link for you in the chat box.
Great.
So when you go back, you can check that video out. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thank you for finding it and pasting it.
Oh, no problem. Well, lots of love to you, Susan. We'll see you soon.
Love to you as well. Yes, I'm going to be able to be a little more, and I'll be able to manifest these trips with you guys. So, yay.
Oh, yeah, you got
Thank you,
transportation
my
now,
brother.
so, yeah. Excited
Well,
about
that and you know, part of what was, I mean, we were going to be in that house kind of in the caretaking situation, and Mike's passing kind of changes things. Everybody's kind of going, okay, what do we do now? you know, because a lot was focused on, you know, having to be stationary. Like if Mom wanted to go out of town to see her brother in Tulsa, I would have been there with Mike, and vice versa. So on like that. So now we're like, oh, well, what do we do now? You know, when you've been caretaking a long time, my mom has been a caretaker for a long time. My sister, my brother, her husband's sister before that, her husband before that. So she's been doing this a lot of years. I'm a little worried about her. This is her first night in the house by herself, but I bet she's like screaming and yelling and running through the house naked or something. She hasn't known that in so long. Anyway, thanks for the time. Love to all of you, and thank you, Shane, for everything you do.
No problem. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's strange. What a big delay. There was a big delay on that one, so sorry if I was seeming like I was taking too long to reply. It's like when there's a big delay, it's like, should I start speaking or are they going to start? It's like a gamble. So I don't know. It's just kind of difficult. If you do want to speak and you are on the call, if you could hit *2, that will raise your hand. And I know that you're not just here listening, you're here actually wanting to talk. Just making sure. And that moves you to the top. And I know you want to participate in the conversation. But yeah, there's several ways you can join all over the world. There's a phone number for whatever country you're in. That way it's a local number. And then if you're on a computer and it doesn't really matter, you can actually go to the website, which is in the description. Did I paste it in there? Let me paste it over there just so you guys have it in the chat. It's talkshoe.com/show/love stream. And you can actually listen from there too. So if YouTube gives you problems or it's cutting out, you can just listen from there. You can raise your hand and I will know that you want to talk. And let's see. Trying to see what I missed here. Oh yeah, it does feel like home. It's wonderful. Let me looking. Well, goodness. Are we going to call it quits for this week? Oh, I don't know what Susan. Do you do artwork, Susan? Or is it like by design, like, I kind of took it like in a metaphysical sense or a spiritual sense, you know? Like, like when we were talking about coincidences earlier and we said we felt like everything was done, um, you know, like we don't believe in coincidences. Things are done orchestrated or by design. That's how I took it, but I don't know. That's a great question to ask Susan. I should have asked her when she was on here. Let me see here. If you're in the call and you want, I do see there's several people listening. If you can hit the raise your hand button or *2 if you're on your phone, then I'll know that you want to come on. Otherwise, we'll probably be wrapping it up. Da, 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 da. Let's see here. Oh, let me see here. J.O., you're live on the air. Could that be the J.O. of Jose?
Hello.
What is up, Jose? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Type your name in there.
Wow. Yeah. It's 2222.
Oh, is it? Sweet. I love just while we're talking about synchronicities and then bam, that happens quite a bit though. It's like while you're talking about it. And
so many synchronicities, like crazy intense energies. So many synchronicities, like nonstop all day. Like I look at it, okay, I see you, I see it. What are you saying? What do you want? Do you get them too?
Oh yeah, I get them all the time. It's like if I'm thinking about something and then I see synchronicity, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that thought was in line with what I should be doing. So a lot of times I'll be thinking about having a guest on or something like that, and then I'll get a synchronicity, and while I'm thinking about that, I'm like, all right, let me send out an email. And I've sent out emails, you know, like I think about Magenta Pixie. I had a synchronistic thing with her, and I would have never thought I would have her on. Like she would just not come on just because I'm a small channel and, you know, she's really busy with everything she does or whatever. But, you know, I had that synchronicity around that. And, you know, other ones that I've called that I just had this idea and, you know, they've said they're going to come on, and then I'm like, oh, okay. And then they're not supposed to come on because it just never works out. And I'm like, all right, I guess they weren't supposed to come on. So, you know, I don't really trip off of it.
That's good. Well, it's so nice to talk to you. How have you been?
Oh, wonderful. And I'm looking at our runtime right now. It's 222. Matter of fact,
nice.
It's 222 and 20 seconds. So right now it's 22222. 2. There's a total of 5. Everybody's sending you love from the chat.
I see that. Hi, guys. Yeah, I was on last night a little late, so many people didn't make it. But sorry, guys. I know I've been really absent lately. It's these energies are just so weird. I feel so disconnected, and I was talking about it with people in the chat yesterday, and a lot of people feel this way too. Like disconnected, not part of this world anymore. I almost feel like I don't belong here even less than I used to.
Is that a good thing? Or?
And well, it's really hard to be around people, to be in the world.
Yeah.
It's not nice, you know. It's really strange. So yeah.
That's you know, and I don't really deal with people out in the world too much. It was like I went on that trip and I got to hang out with a bunch of like-minded people, and then I came right back to my cave. Basically, it's like, all right, duck back into the shadows
All
again.
right.
But no, I go to the store and stuff like that. But you know, it's like when you get out there and you're around people and you see how people are reacting and stuff. I mean, not really with me, just with each other or whatever. You know what I mean? Pretty much my
Uh-huh.
interactions with other people aren't really. I don't really do much other than polite conversation with the person checking me out or something like that. But other than that, you see people like zipping by you in traffic and cutting you off, and you're like, whoa, people are just I don't know, they're out there.
Who's checking you out?
Cut what? Checking me out.
No, it's you said people checking me out. Who's
Oh,
checking you out?
I meant cutting me off. My bad. Like in traffic, you know.
Yeah. Well, see, I was so glad to see you guys go over there and the the pictures and everything in Sedona. And like that's something I would like to see. You're lucky. Uh, how were the energies? Did you feel anything special?
You know what? I'm kind of unbiased and on the fence about it. I felt excitement, so I can't. I'm not quick to say, oh, it was for sure the place, because I had a lot of excitement surrounding just being there in
Yeah.
general. I felt excited
Hmm.
nowadays. The one thing that I wasn't affected by, although I did get drowsy at the conference because I was low on sleep, but it wasn't that heavy feeling like I get when I'm at home where I'm just like, I've just got to go lay down. I can't keep my eyes open. It was just, I was just sitting for too long and listening to talking for too long. And a lot of the stuff people were going over, I'd watched videos the whole way there. So it's like I'd seen quite a bit of it on videos and stuff like that. So um, I was just, I'm not designed to sit that long. I get up a lot and move around a lot. And even though I'm at my
I
computer a lot,
know.
I still take lots of breaks and stuff like that. These shows are about the longest I'm sitting and not like really taking some kind of break. You know what I
I know exactly what you mean. I know you. You know I know you.
mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, it must be hard to sit for so long, especially with something you've heard before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised though you can feel energies, but you're not the only one. I think I saw someone else was talking about. I saw a couple of videos of people over there,
Hmm.
and they couldn't feel. Some of them couldn't feel any difference. I don't know if it's. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know
I'd
either. It
like
felt
to.
good. It felt exciting, but I can't, I wouldn't bet my life on it that it was the place. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not that sure of it. It totally could have been, but it wasn't so far off
Hmm.
the charts that I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, this is, I was in awe because of the place. I just don't know, it felt
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I remember really soaking it up that night that we were all meditating together in the desert on the rock and looking up at the stars and just thinking, wow, I just wish I could make this moment last forever
Nice.
just because
No.
it just felt so great. I was so content there with all these like minded people, just loving each other, just their company, you know what I mean? And you could hear all these little conversations going on. And me being the introvert I am, I was just kind of sitting over there just hearing, just enjoying all these little conversations. I couldn't even make out what people were really saying, but just hearing the people together, I felt content just being there to observe that happening. And I don't know. Frank was there. I don't know if he got to get around and talk to people, but I'm just chilling on the rock, looking up, laying right on the ground, and looking up at the sky, and just enjoying that moment together. So I don't know.
No, that's amazing. I can actually feel it. I
Yeah.
can feel your excitement and your joy. It's I got a big smile on my face, like
Yeah, me
I
too.
can feel it, like I can feel it. I can. That's so nice. Yeah, I can just imagine.
Yeah.
It's probably beautiful, amazing. Hey, guess what?
What?
I'm going on a trip.
To the States this
Uh,
time? You gonna come down and see us?
Yeah, no, I wish.
Come down from the
No,
attic? I'm just
uh,
playing.
yeah, no, I'm going down to the basement.
Oh, down to Mexico, huh?
No, Guatemala. We're going to
Oh,
Guatemala. Dan has to go for work, and he doesn't want to go by himself.
how
So
long? How long are
I
you gonna
guess
be down there?
a whole month. We're coming back Christmas Day. I'm so excited. I won't be here before Christmas. I'm so excited. Can you feel my excitement? I
Oh
don't
yeah.
have to deal with this year.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, cause yeah, yeah, that's gonna be nice not dealing with the cold. That would suck to be left behind and no one to cuddle with in the cold weather,
I
huh?
know,
Keeping
right?
the stove going or the heater going by yourself or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I know. That would be a long month.
Gosh, can you believe it's that time again already?
Oh,
Sheesh.
I know. But you know what? We're getting a furnace this year. I haven't talked to you in so long. The roof is getting done. Guys, so many wonderful things have happened. We've had like crap happening, but also good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, the roof is being made. Dan got his pension finally, and we're getting a furnace, and we're going to Guatemala, and yeah, it's
Wow.
good.
So it's going to be like you're on New Earth with the nice weather. You're going to call and give me the business. You say, hey, it's like 80 degrees here. How cold is it in Tulsa? Feels like New Earth
Yeah,
here.
what? Yeah. Well, I keep watching videos of where we are going, and it does kind of look like paradise.
Yeah.
So I
So
don't
isn't
know
that
if
where
I'm going.
this caravan or something that wasn't that Guatemala? I heard in the news something. I listen to like NPR when I'm in the car sometimes just to hear what people are talking about, and they were talking about this caravan was heading to the border or something, and I don't know. I just caught a little piece of it. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So, but I thought they said Guatemala. Is that? I don't know.
We're
Did you hear
going
me?
to Lake Atitlan.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Panajachel. So it's around a lake. It's in a valley, kind of, but it's surrounded by three volcanoes. So I was looking at the this make I don't want to worry, but like I'm not
Oh
gonna worry, right?
no, nothing to worry about.
Just
You got
gonna go.
higher self protection going on there,
Yeah.
so that's beautiful.
So
Do you like jumping on the
yeah,
bed?
jumping on the bed.
Yeah, they're talking in the chat about bed jumping. They love jumping on the bed. Now, I come from
Yeah.
an interracial family, so half my family on my dad's side was black, and my mom's side was white, and they both had some Indian in them. But now on the black side of my family, the way my family would keep their kids from jumping on the bed was to put Velcro on the ceiling. This just sucks them right
Yeah,
up,
it's
man. No jumping on the bed on that side of the family.
no. Well, my sister got really hurt. Like she got hurt real bad when she was little. She fell from jumping on a bed and cut her ear open. Had to have stitches, and you know. And my ex-husband's brother broke his back jumping on a bed. So there was no jumping on beds allowed a lot when I was growing up, and then when my kids were growing up, because to me, it's dangerous, like.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say probably should avoid jumping on the bed in your family. Definitely.
Especially if there's a dresser next to it, like they'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to put padding on
Well,
everything.
Shane, yeah. I don't want to keep you too long. You've been on a long time already.
Are you going to drop
And
something out the airplane window as you fly over or anything? I mean, I
sure,
still
what
have the
would you
little
like,
Bible you
darling?
sent me, and I've still got the little jewels or, crystals and the little
Uh-huh.
beautiful bag you made for me right here.
What would you like, darling? What would you like? We
Uh,
have weed now. I can drop you an ounce or something.
Drop me a joint out the window. Some of that attic Canadian weed.
Can you see us? There's a lot of smoke above Canada right now.
Oh no, I won't be able to see anything right now. It's so overcast. It's crazy. Yeah, I heard it's legal now. I thought it was already legal. It seemed like everybody I know up there was already doing it.
But
So,
it's officially legal since the 17th.
so it was just medicinally before that, or?
Only medicinally, and it was
Oh,
still not legal. Like it
oh,
was.
okay.
So now it's legal, but I'm just waiting for. Like now they're just gonna. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be harder to smoke now than it was before. I'm sure. So we'll
Oh,
just see what happens with that. And you know what I've noticed? That
mm-hmm,
is so weird. When you click on the homepage on YouTube,
mm-hmm.
I keep seeing, just the last couple days, I keep seeing videos of people uh, explaining their withdrawal from weed and how they quit weed, and like it's so weird how they try to. I don't know. It's just bizarre.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think if
Mhm.
somebody needs to quit, it'll just happen whenever they need to do it. It was like that for me, but I don't, it
Mhm.
it's gotten me through some rough times, so I don't judge
Mhm.
anyone for doing it because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for it, in my opinion, anyway. So I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
if it's not ready time for you to quit, I wouldn't, stress out about it. It'll
Yeah.
happen when it's supposed to happen. Now I won't even go around
Yeah.
it because it was so hard to get away from it when because it was like a crutch for me for so long that,
Yeah.
um, so I don't want to have to
But
go
see,
through that again.
I have to quit for the trip.
Just
At
for the
least
trip,
like
right? When you get there, they should have plenty down there. Most of the stuff up here comes from there, I think. Here on the main
yeah,
floor.
well, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna go looking for it. You don't want to get in trouble when you go in other countries,
Yeah, that's true.
especially you know. So I'm not gonna be looking for it,
Yeah.
but like
You could just take your
so I'm
favorite
just.
coffee with you, put it in a bag. And then inside the
We
coffee.
usually yeah, but it's weird going to Guatemala. They have some of the best coffee in the world. If you bring your own coffee, gonna look weird.
Yeah.
Like no, I'm not like I started a few years ago. I'm not like since I haven't smoked all my life. It just last few years, and
Yeah.
pretty chronic now, but I don't mind stopping for that, like.
Yeah. Just suck up the air on the beach
Well,
instead.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
You'd be surprised how much, once you get out of the habit of the actual physical actions that you go through, like,
Yeah,
that,
but
you can get over it pretty
the
easily.
oh yeah, well the fact uh, that I'm gonna be away in a different country, you know, and every time I traveled before, I haven't traveled since I smoke weed, like it's the first time, so I never was stoned before when I went on trips, so it'll just be like, you know.
Yeah. That's funny you said
Anyway,
that
we'll
because I was
see.
like 2/3 of the way through my trip and I'm like, Wait a minute. That's what I'm missing here. I haven't traveled across the country like this sober before, I don't
Yeah.
think. Normally I'm like, it's like something that's like killing
Ah,
time, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I guess
yeah.
roll up another one for the
Oh.
highway. But yeah, it was, yeah, it was just the music this time, and,
Oh
so
man, that
that
must
was,
have
I was
been so
totally fine though.
long.
Yeah.
So long. Well,
Well,
I
awesome.
I'm really happy we got to talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being there, for keeping the fort. Sorry I'm not around.
And
I love you all.
you're gonna actually, oh, don't be letting your hand down now, 360. It's almost time. No, somebody took their hand down. Um, but anyway, what I was going to say is you're going to have your laptop, you're going to have internet, so you're going to be broadcasting from Guatemala, correct?
I'm not bringing my laptop because it's
What?
my brand new one. I'm just gonna be afraid, like, it was a lot of money, and I'm just gonna like worry all the time.
Wait a minute. You're not going to
Um,
worry if you leave it at the house?
no, we here I leave the doors open and everything, and it's yeah, no,
Where do you live
but I'll
again?
probably
I'm just playing. What's your address again? I might have to take a trip to the attic while you're down in the basement.
no, but
I'm just joking.
we locked the back door, but we never locked the front door. So it defies the purpose, but like the kids always found a way to break in. So,
Yeah.
like if the kids can break in, anybody can. So I'd rather just leave the door open. It's less mess to clean up.
Yeah, that's how I am with my car too. I'm like, I don't want them to break
Like
my window. Just take whatever you want out of it and don't break my window.
but like my sister lives in Winnipeg and she never locks her doors
Yeah.
ever.
It's just too cold.
It's just it's just a way of if you feel safe, you're usually safe.
Yeah, I
Like
feel the same way too.
yeah,
A lock at best slows them down a little bit, but not much.
yeah.
So at least you can, like, I don't know, lift up a floorboard and hide it in there or something. You don't want to just leave it out in the open.
No, I'll probably take it to my daughters or something. Or
That's a good idea.
you know, yeah. But that's the only thing of value in the house. So you know,
Okay, that sounds good.
not worried. Yeah.
So you
So,
got to
but
have
I'll
your
probably
phone?
bring my phone.
You'll be
Yeah.
able to report in from the phone at least? I think I have one.
I probably, yeah, I think I can if I get hooked on the hotel's Wi-Fi, then I can probably just go live on YouTube from my phone, right?
I think so. I mean, that was the plan when I went to
Oh yeah,
Sedona and I
you're.
couldn't, so I don't know. And that,
Why couldn't you?
just every time I tried, it would just time out. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? It's like, I don't know.
Huh.
And then I guess Sprint, because I have Boost, but Sprint is who owns the Boost towers, and I guess they just don't have any in Sedona or something. Or, I could get on the phone, but a lot of times it
Oh.
was roaming, so I could use the phone, but
Huh.
not like data and stuff like that. So I don't know. I can totally see Guatemala being a completely different thing there.
Oh, you would be surprised because there's a lot of tourists and there's a lot of people, white people who live there, and usually South America, Central America, they have the best Wi-Fi,
Mm,
the best Wi-Fi, high speed, and it's usually cheap. And a lot of people they give it for free to people. A lot of places,
yeah. Just like hop on that, like the Marriott or something, probably, or the
yeah.
something like that.
Or what I really like too, there's little internet cafes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So in Mexico, it used to be like 10 pesos, like $1 for an hour,
Yeah. I don't see
and
any
it's high
Mexican
speed.
numbers for people to call in on. I thought for sure that no Central or South America that I can see here. South Africa.
Huh.
But
Cool.
doesn't do you much good. So I don't know.
Maybe I could call you from Guatemala. Is there a number from Guatemala?
Maybe it's not international. You think you could just call an American number from there, or is it international? I don't know.
Huh.
But at least
Well,
you
I'm
can.
on.
There's always email and stuff. I'm sure you'll be able to get on that. I just don't know about streaming, if it's going to have a broad enough band to
Yeah,
handle it.
I'll see. I will try, but if I can't, I'll just make little videos on my phone and
Upload
try
them
to
when you can.
upload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, smoke signals. I'll be looking for
Okay.
them. So when are you leaving?
Sounds
again?
good. End of November.
End of November. So you'll be gone
Yeah,
about a month.
and we come back on.
So you'll be here for
We
about
come back
another
on
month,
Christmas Day.
and then you'll be gone for about
Yeah.
a month.
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to, getting you back. Even though it's like you're the same distance away, I think it's like,
No, I'll be a little further away. I'm
I don't
going
know.
down. Remember?
Yeah, but I'm down
in
here
the
by
attic.
Texas.
Yeah, but I'm in the attic and
Texas
I'm going
is-
down to the basement.
Texas is right at the stairs,
Yeah.
though. I mean, we're talking.
Well, just stretch your arm up, and when we go by, we'll grab you and take you.
Give me a high five as you go by or something. Is there
Yeah.
any layovers in the States?
Oh,
That'd be cool. If you stop at the
we-
airport here or something, I'll come and say hi to you or something.
Yeah. Well, there are layovers in the States, but we have a layover in Mexico City. Can you make it there?
Oh, no, Mexico City. Oh, so wow, that's pretty far, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. you're
Yeah,
close
we
enough.
have a layover of 5.5 hours in Mexico, so it's going to take us 12 hours to get there, which is really long.
All the
and
way
we
there
leave
from Canada to.
Yeah, from Toronto to Mexico City is about 5 hours. And then we have a 5-hour layover. And then it's a couple hours, I think, to Guatemala. An hour and 50 minutes or something like that to Guatemala.
So you're
And
going to go
then
over the
there's a
Gulf of
flight.
Mexico, aren't you? It looks like.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water.
Google.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at it, Guatemala, and it looks like, actually, I am about halfway in between there.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, maybe closer to you now, but that's wild to imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. You should come down. You guys send me Shane in Guatemala. Anyone who wants to come, just come. Lake Atitlan, Guatemala. Just come and spend some time with us down there. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I was looking at Lago de Isabel. I'm looking, I don't
No,
see that
it's
lake you're talking about.
Atitlan, A-T-L, A-T-I-T-L-A-N.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Lago de Atitlan.
Atitlan, yeah.
Atitlan, okay. So that's long of something.
It's I don't know what Atitlan means exactly, but it's a lake, and you see there's a little valley, and it's surrounded by 3 volcanoes.
Mm. Oh, yeah. The volcanoes named the same thing, Atitlan.
Yeah, and you travel by boat to the different villages.
That sounds exciting.
So yeah, you just flag a boat, and they come and pick you up, and they take you to the village you want to go to for a few pennies, and yeah.
Very nice.
Well,
I need to get
yeah,
some
I
gigs
know,
like
right?
this. That sounds awesome. Well, take lots of pictures and stuff. Are you going to at least have a camera?
Yeah, Dan was talking about maybe getting one. We haven't had a camera in a long time. So we might get one to take pictures. So if not, I can delete the pictures on my phone and
Well, do
fill
that
it up
before you
again.
leave. Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Do that.
I will. Well, they're pretty much all on my computer, so I can do that already. So
Well, awesome.
there,
I'm
but
so excited for you.
Shane,
Yeah.
I want to invite you. I'm gonna have a special Halloween. So Halloween night, if you're not busy, if you want to come, wear your best Halloween costume.
I'm sure I'll be busy dressing my own kids up in clown outfits and stuff. But are you doing like a live stream or something? Or
Yeah, I'm gonna do a live stream.
Oh, okay. I can probably cheat. I got one of those things that'll put a clown face on me and stuff. Well, I don't know. People are afraid of clowns. You just never know. Don't want to freak anybody out. It is a pretty scary clown, too. Like, make them leave.
Yeah, well, if you have, you don't have to stay the whole time, but I'll probably have Lena on, and we're gonna pull some cards, and I'm gonna be dressed up, and we're gonna have some candles and stuff, and just, have fun.
What are you going to dress up as?
Oh, that's a surprise.
Don't tell me a witch. You're not allowed to. That's like me dressing up as a YouTuber and coming on there, right? That's cheating. That's funny.
Cheating.
I would always say that when I come home from painting, and then it was Halloween. I'd say, I'm a painter. Like, you can't go in your work clothes with paint on you. Like, but it's convincing.
But
right?
I never had a witch costume ever.
Really?
I never dressed as a witch, ever.
It's not very funny. It's like what I'm saying.
Clown costume.
Yeah, the clown.
I had a clown. I had my mom used to make like antique dresses and stuff like that. Or my mom did a lot of art costumes. I was a vampire, but I was never a witch.
That was like a no-no probably in your family, though, right? Ultra religious Catholic and stuff.
No, there was no. It
Really?
wasn't. No.
We weren't even allowed to
no,
celebrate. We were real strict.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, for a while, you could go as Bible characters and stuff. The church would have, it wasn't a Halloween event, but it was a dress up as, Moses and stuff like that. Or an angel. Not very colorful. Like, I want to be something scary.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Halloween is so much fun. People are themselves, like it's I always like working, wearing a costume, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it is a fun holiday now that I'm older, and I think of it a little bit lightheartedly compared to how I was before, but
Oh yeah. It's a lot more fun than Christmas, if you ask me.
I forgot you hate Christmas.
Yes, I do. Yeah. So, hey, Shane, we can talk maybe before Halloween, and even if you just come for 15 minutes, that would be sweet.
Yeah, definitely. I can fit you into my very busy schedule. I'm just kidding. But I could totally fit you
I know you're busy.
Even if I put on those glasses with the nose and the mustache or something for a second, I can do something.
That would, yeah, that
some
would
Dracula
be perfect.
teeth or something. I can do something. There's always
Or
something.
dress as a priest and bring your little Bible.
Or I could have my son on the screen and I can lip sync while he moves his mouth and it's like, hey, I just came as my son.
Oh!
All right. In his Halloween outfit.
Whatever.
It'd be really confusing.
Yeah.
Well, I love you so much, Jose. Thanks for taking the time to come on, chat with me.
Oh, I love you too, and I love everybody in the chat. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for having me, Shane.
Oh, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, and we'll talk soon.
All right, bye-bye, sis.
Bye-bye.
Wow. There we go. All right, so Jose rounding out our number, let's see, is it 3 or 2? I don't know. Anyway, coming up on the 3rd hour, no hands up, so, oh, there's a hand. Just popped right up there. Okay. 360, you're live. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. Who am I talking to?
Shanti. I usually listen to you when I'm working at nighttime.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I saw you in the chat. That's right.
So I got a question for you. I don't know if this ever happened to any of the listeners, but I have noticed this lady. I'm just really curious to see if anybody knows what the heck that I'm looking at. So I like to do some gazing from time to time when the sun is setting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can actually see, like, when you look at the sun, for example, yesterday, it was a beautiful day in Washington State. And I looked at the sun, and I noticed first thing I saw around the sun was pink, and it turned into blue or yada, yada, different colors.
Mm-hmm.
But then I noticed it's not the first time. I started seeing some kind of a DNA structures in the
really?
sky. Like a very, very thin filming or something. I don't know if you guys know what DNA structures looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw, and I'm going like, what the heck are those little, hexagon things, got lines attaching to another hexagon thing and then attached to another hexagon thing? I'm just wondering, anybody notice that? Or what the heck did I see? Because it's not the first time I saw that when I'm looking at the sun during sunset.
So it's looking at the sun during sunset. Now, are you talking about like the spiral DNA, what they call it, the double helix they call it, where it's spiraling?
No. It's like a hexagon, like a little hexagon picture, and it got lines coming out and connect to another hexagon, and got another line and connects to other hexagons.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so more like when they show the chemical makeup of stuff, and they show that little graph where it's like different, what do they call that, elements of the periodic table elements,
so
and they show the little hexagons
why
connected.
am I seeing that in the sky?
I don't know. That's wild. I'd be interested to hear. The only thing that's similar to that is they have that sun reflector thing that's made up of a bunch of hexagons, but I don't think it would look. What you're talking about sounds like it's actually a diagram, right? I mean, it's not a symmetrical.
Yeah.
Right. That's wild.
And my husband and I, when we sit on the beach and we relax our eyes,
mm-hmm.
we can actually see energy sparks in the sky.
Yes, I've noticed
those. It's very, very easy for us to figure out,
Yeah, I've been noticing that too.
And lately, I saw that in the, I saw the DNA structures thing. I'm going to, okay, what is that? Because I'm just dying to know. And I asked my husband, he has no idea what I'm talking about. He said, you might want to check your eyes. And I'm going like, if you see sparks, maybe you should get yours checked too.
Yeah, most people don't notice
it.
It's like those little floaters on your eyes where you just kind of ignore it, but it's the opposite of those where it's like little sparkles that you just look at the sky, it looks like energy, and you can miss it. You can totally be looking at the clouds and totally not see it, but if you pay attention, ignore the clouds in the sky and just look for the little sparkles of energy. That's totally new for me. I don't ever remember seeing that until, I don't know, this last year or so I've been noticing the energies, but I haven't seen the what do you call it, like the molecule diagrams or hexagons.
It doesn't scare me at all because I'm just curious. I'm wondering if that was one of those. Is that like an energy download like what I've been hearing on the YouTube, or is that a barrier that we've been under? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally. Like some kind of a dome or shield. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, what the heck are those?
Yeah. So you know what it reminds me of is people that explain going on a DMT trip where they where they do use ayahuasca or they smoke DMT and they say everything looks like it turns into digital pixels and it just doesn't look real anymore. That's what it sort of reminds me of. It's like maybe you're seeing a peek beyond the veil, like that chemical.
Oh, I wasn't smoking nothing.
No, I know.
I don't even know how to.
But I think that we're moving into, as we are ascending or evolving, I think we are actually beginning to not need those substances anymore. Perhaps, like we're beginning to see through it without just naturally, without the help of stuff. So that's what I'm wondering.
Well, I mean, I'm curious because I have always been one of those person curious about everything, and I just really like your title, Unbiased, because I thought that fit me perfectly fine too. That's why I just going like, oh, this click, I'm going to keep on listening to him.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't like that. They're like, we want you to think like me. And it's like, I just rather be open-minded about stuff because unless I have like hardcore proof of something, I'd rather be open to other possibilities. And some people don't like to be like that. But I find that's how I learn the most is when I stay open-minded and don't feel like I figured it out already. As soon as you start feeling like you figured it out, then you're not open to learn anymore. You kind of shut yourself down to grow anymore. So that's...
here's another thing I also wonder is I was talking to my husband today. He's the soft one in our relationship. I'm the disciplinary among my kids. So I was telling my husband, I said, lately I feel like to cry is not because of the tears of low vibration such as anger or frustration or whatever, but it's actually tears of joy, of love and peace. And I don't know why. Anybody ever been that way lately?
I've been that way for quite a while now. It's like and it's usually, it doesn't have anything to do with me. It's other people. It's having that empathy when you see just other people and just that joy that, I don't know, it's just something about it. It's I don't cry at anything really sad usually. I mean, I do like, if there's something sad in a movie, like a sad scene or something, I might cry, but it's typically in real life, it's like, I'll just cry at something that really doesn't seem like you should cry at. It's just maybe you see two parents that are passing their kid over because they split up and they've got to share their kid and they meet at a Quick Trip and you see the kid run over and you could tell they miss their dad or mom or whatever and they hug and that's the kind of thing that it typically I have to dry it up before it gets carried away, but just so but it's being touched by the beauty of life and the love and all that stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then another thing is like, when I was younger, I kind of grew up in an orphanage. So that's what it taught me to trust my own gut feelings and taught me to be basically buckles up because if you cry, that was sign of weakness.
Right.
And if you show any weakness, you're going to be on the bottom of the line, and I wasn't going to go do that.
Right.
So I never, I was young. But then lately I started on, like a self-healing process about 20 years ago. One of the things I hate the most is crying. I'm going like, why am I crying for no reason? This kind of sucks because I'm going like this. But then I realized crying is actually a process of healing. It's getting rid of those kind of lower vibrational energy. Just let it drop out of you and let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
Another thing I wonder. Sorry, I jumped from place to place.
No,
Another thing I wonder. Any of you out there actually have dreams? It doesn't seem like dreams either. I have this more than once. So there I was in a meeting on several occasions, usually like 2 or 3 times a week. I'm looking at this being in front of me, and I look down on myself. I'm going, oh, shit, I'm not human. But I'm looking at these beings, and then we don't talk, but we can communicate through thoughts. And I'm looking at some of them, and I'm telling them, you can't come down look like that. You're going to scare the crap out of human. You got to get another suit.
Right.
And I'm looking at other ones. I'm going like, you might be okay because you look like energy, and somebody going to think you're their guide or angels. But you over there, no, you got to look like something else because you're going to scare the crap out of them. Any of you actually have those kind of dreams, like just being pulled up, going to the meeting and...
Oh, that's beautiful. I've had some training ones like that where it seemed like we were training to fly in the swimming pool and stuff that I've talked about. It didn't seem like a dream. It seemed more like I was remembering something. But yeah, I totally think that's happening. And I think, it could be an indication that what we're in right now is really the dream. You know what I mean? It's really that's more real. What you're talking about is more real than what we're living in right now. So makes me wonder.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too because, like sometimes I tell my husband about my dream. You know how they have dream interpretation? Some of them are process dreams and some of them are premonitions. And this one, it doesn't feel like those dreams.
Right.
I have some, it just, it's like what you say, training dreams, but they were training me to move things with my thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
So those dreams are actually fun for me because I always find those to be like somewhat of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't. Yeah. So, anywho, I'll let you go and I'll bug you some other time. I just really love your show, tell you the truth, because it really helps me. I like to work by myself. That's why I work at nighttime when nobody's bothering me.
Yeah.
And I put you on to you, and I come home and then I take care of the kids and the family, and I'm basically a loner, which somewhat just the way I like it.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Shane, and I'll let somebody else bug you.
No problem. No problem, Shinty. Thank you so much for calling in. Lots of love to you now.
All right, you take care now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
That is super cool. That's, man, I would love to have a dream like that. That reminds me of like some of the QHHT or BQH sessions that I've heard. It reminded me more of that than a dream. I don't know. That's just sort of what came to mind when I think of other things that sounded similar to that. Let me see. Actually, I need to get off of here now. Wow, 3 hours. That really flew by. I really love each and every one of you guys. I appreciate you all joining in. This is such a fun time. I totally look forward to this every week. And I'm glad with this new system we can keep the calls coming in and I can make sure I go a little bit longer. So, yeah, I was even thinking about starting a second one during the week sometime, but I'm just not sure of a good time to do that. So I've got a lot of other things up in the air, and I do have more guests coming on and stuff like that, but I was thinking that yesterday. I'm like, I should just go in the daytime, but I had that video to edit and other things. So anyway, lots of love and light to each and every one of you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.
Your line has been disconnected by the moderator. Goodbye.